In the year 2077, the virtual game apocalypse became a reality, the world's order collapsed, and the world turned into hell. Humans awakened supernatural abilities in this chaotic world. Jiang City's richest playboy, Yi Xiao, still managed to protect Qin Yanran very well. He even spent a fortune hiring 10 experts to help the lady level up, making sure she got the best. Yi Xiao spared no expense, even exhausting his fortune to buy a divine artifact for Qin Yanran. Yi Xiao would immediately bring any opportunity or equipment to Qin Yanran. Qin Yanran finally became a god-tier powerhouse in Dragon Country, thanks to Yi Xiao. Today is the day Yi Xiao and Qin Yanran are to be wed. Many citizens felt envious of them, believing they were truly a match made in heaven. Yanran, will you marry me? Yi Xiao asked while pulling Yanran's waist. The lady hugged him tight and showed a teasing smile as she replied, I won't. Shockingly, Yanran pulled Yi Xiao's heart. She was laughing eerily while Yi Xiao was shocked. Yi Xiao, do you think money can buy my true feelings? Do you think gifting me equipment allows you to morally coerce me? Yanran said. There was a man standing beside her. Yi Xiao was lying on the ground, trembling in pain. Yanran then added that she only accepted his gift, but it didn't mean she agreed to his affection. She was confidently claiming that everything she achieved was because of her hard work. The man beside her grabbed her waist, and she then stated that this man was Zhang, the person who understood her struggles. She even said that she would give Yi Xiao's heart to this man so she could still hear Yi Xiao's heartbeat every day. Zhang stepped on Yi Xiao's face and proclaimed that everything that belonged to Yi Xiao now belonged to him. Yi Xiao felt so blank. He couldn't think of a reason why the lady still betrayed him despite what he did for her. He was thinking of his heart turning to ashes, and he concluded this might be the end of his life. Thinking about it made him furious, and he didn't want to let it slide. I'm unwilling. I'll make you pay. I will have my revenge. I'll make those despicable people pay the price, he screamed. He was dumbfounded when he heard a familiar voice asking if he was fine. He then found himself standing in front of Yanran. Yi Xiao, are you deaf? Didn't you hear me? Do you think I need a little bit of your money? Let me tell you, accepting your money was just me saving your pride and face, got it? If you keep clinging, don't ever come find me again, the lady stated. Yi Xiao, at this time, deduced that he was reincarnated, and he remembered that the card he was holding was a monthly allowance of Yanran that he was supposed to give her, which was 200,000 yuan. He also recalled that this day was a week before the apocalypse descended. Yanran wasn't done with her speech. She was acting to refuse Yi Xiao's money and gave a reason that she endured mental anguish for taking his money and heard gossip about her that she was a gold digger. She said that she was only accepting the money forcibly because of Yi Xiao's own good. Yi Xiao turned around without any words and decided to leave, but he suddenly went back to the lady, so the lady thought he instantly regretted walking out. The lady tried to touch him, but he pushed her hand away and said, For my own good? How about I go to hell instead? The lady was shocked by his behavior. He then continued to walk away while informing the lady that he would never give anything to her again. The lady still dared to smile as she was expecting it was only a trick of Yi Xiao to scare her. She then proclaimed she would reluctantly accept Yi Xiao's card this time, but then Yi Xiao told her to get lost immediately. Yanran was mad and screamed, Yi Xiao, how dare you talk to me like this? You'll regret it. Yi Xiao pulled her shoes while stating that he remembered he was the one who bought them, so he wanted her to take them off before she left. Yanran was mad at him, telling him not to think that his little bit of money made him great and wouldn't be the reason to make her yield to him. She even scared him by saying that she would never acknowledge him again, even if he kneeled and begged later. Yi Xiao then replied, That would be a blessing. I beg you, don't ever show up in front of me again. I have more important things to do than waste time on you. At this point in time, the Apocalypse beta test would begin in 1 week. At that time, during the first 10 minutes of the beta test, the recharge system would be briefly activated. Yi Xiao called someone over the phone. He needed to gather enough funds before the test began. He called a lady named Een and offered to sell all his shares for 20 billion. Een was shocked since he never wanted to sell his shares. He then commanded Een to complete all the paperwork within 5 days and transfer the money to his account. Een smiled and said there wouldn't be any problem with the money. She was glad that Yi Xiao finally decided to hand the Yi Corporation over to her. Yi Xiao then dropped the call and uttered, Next, I'll wait for the Apocalypse beta to arrive. This life, I'll climb the throne alone. 1 week later, the Apocalypse game had begun. Yi Xiao entered the game, and a window then appeared, welcoming him and congratulating him on gaining beta access. As per the system, this test would last for 3 days. After 3 days, the public version would be launched. Yi Xiao was inside a cylinder as he was entering the game. He then felt a familiar feeling, and he knew it was the feeling of the starting point of the Apocalypse game. Yi Xiao touched his window as he typed Night Sha for his username. In the last life, a guild was once destroyed by a god-tier beast tamer leading a dark abyss dragon. This time, he's not lacking money or resources, so he decided to become a beast tamer for his class. After choosing a class, his appearance changed. He then topped up, and the system congratulated him for his successful recharge of a total of 20 billion gold coins. Yi Xiao was amazed by the huge amount of money credited to his account, as he was sure that the value of these coins would multiply tenfold after 3 days. A congratulatory message was shown by the system again. As the first player to recharge over 1 billion, the system also unlocked a unique hidden profession as a reward. Yi Xiao was clueless as to what it was, and after a few seconds, Yi Xiao discovered it was a god of wealth, hidden profession. He knew he unlocked it by spending too much money. The system was shaking. A talking frog then jumped out and said, "I didn't expect that it would be a young brat to unlock me." Yi Xiao was confused about how the frog appeared out of nowhere. The frog was annoyed at him and called him an insolent human. The frog was standing as he introduced himself as Ebisu, a wealth mentor of Yi Xiao. According to him, Yi Xiao was the 79th god of wealth under his training. A toad as a mentor? Do you think you're selling financial products? Yi Xiao said with crossed arms. Ebisu snapped his fingers and proclaimed that he would show what real wealth is. The window displayed information on the innate talents of the wealth profession. First is the level 1 wealth rolling in, the most basic ability of the wealth god, which allows Yi Xiao's gold coins to increase by 1% daily. The next talent is the level 1 penny pitcher. As a wealth god, Yi Xiao rejects all losses. Upon death, his gold coins and items will not drop. The third talent is the level 1 extraordinary luck. It was said that money brings good fortune, and since Yi Xiao has immense wealth, he also possesses excellent luck. The fourth talent is the level 1 unmatched charm. Even the ugliest person becomes handsome with generosity, but in Yi Xiao's case, he gains an additional 50 points of charm. Lastly, the level 1 power of the wealth god. As a god, he shall possess divine power. For every 1,000,000 gold coins spent, he gains 1 additional random attribute point, up to 100 points daily. Yi Xiao was surprised and now understood why the god of wealth profession is a hidden class. It has many innate talents. However, he was wondering why it didn't seem to have any offensive talents. Ebisu crossed his arms and replied that Yi Xiao didn't get it clearly. He explained that any one of the wealth god talents could bring immense riches. Yi Xiao thought for a moment and realized that because of wealth rolling in, he would earn an extra 22 million daily. Ebisu then informed him that he could gain 22 free attribute points daily with power of the wealth god. Ebisu asked if Yi Xiao now understood what the talent meant. Yi Xiao suddenly picked him up, exclaiming that the wealth god class was too overpowered. He was too excited to show the world the true meaning of money and power, regretting how he had spent all his money on Qin Yanran in his past life. He then clicked the system to teleport to the 9527 newbie village and declared, "With this golden finger, why wait to grow stronger?" Straight to the newbie village, he was teleported to the flower plains together with Ebisu. Yi Xiao was glad to see no one in the area. According to him, starting as a beast tamer is dozens of times harder than other classes because, early on, he can't tame powerful beasts. To grow quickly, he needed to think of a strategy. Ebisu was sitting on his shoulder, complaining that choosing beast tamer was reckless since Yi Xiao didn't even start with a weapon. Yi Xiao was about to explain why he chose beast tamer, but then he noticed some goblins rushing toward him. It turned out that these goblins smelled his human scent. These goblins were level 15 elite goblin warriors. Yi Xiao felt unlucky and was debating whether to fight or flee when he looked behind and saw Ebisu running away at full speed. What's there to think about? You're practically naked, no weapons, and facing a level 15 elite. Run! Ebisu shouted. More and more goblins were chasing Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao ran away, hoping someone would save him. Meanwhile, he reached the main city and felt relieved that he had managed to escape from the goblins. While resting, adventurers were staring at him and smiling, knowing that he picked Beast Tamer as his class. They assumed the toad on his shoulder was his beast. Yi Xiao didn't respond and just turned around while hearing the mocking laughter behind him. At the same time, Ebisu was commanding him to buy a beast egg for sale in the city. However, Yi Xiao proclaimed that he would not settle for an ordinary beast. Ebisu then asked what he wanted, and Yi Xiao replied that he knew of a hidden dungeon where a god-level beast egg lay in a dragon's lair. He went directly to the Supreme Hall, but Ebisu didn't like his idea, knowing that only level 100 and above players could hire guards there while Yi Xiao was only level 1. Still, Yi Xiao was confident, claiming that he knew what he was doing. He went inside, but a level 80 Grand Archmage blocked his way. "Young man, this is not a place for you. Return when you've trained more. Only with the City Lord's recommendation letter can the doors to the Supreme Hall open for you," the Archmage stated. Yi Xiao politely told the Archmage that he didn't have a recommendation letter, but the Archmage told him to leave, saying that the Supreme Hall is the Empire's pride and not for someone like Yi Xiao. "I don't have a letter, but I heard the Archmage recently lost something. I've come to return it," Yi Xiao added. The Archmage thought Yi Xiao was just trying to fool him. Yi Xiao then told him to look below his feet. The Archmage looked down and saw gold coins beside his feet. He picked them up, and Yi Xiao told him there were more coins behind him. The Archmage was overjoyed and instantly permitted Yi Xiao to enter the VIP room at the War God Pavilion Supreme Hall. "Ahem, Master, I liked your fierce demeanor earlier. Can you bring it back?" Yi Xiao teased. The old man cleared his throat and professionally told Yi Xiao to go upstairs. Yi Xiao laughed while Ebisu commented that money really works on everything. Yi Xiao entered the Supreme Hall and saw level 10 to level 80 Supreme Hall honoring night golems with unknown costs. The Supreme Hall really lives up to its name. A level 100 hireable guardian. Equip this, and you can dominate the novice village. Ebisu stated. Yi Xiao replied, "These don't interest me. They're beneath me." Another guard appeared and angrily asked Yi Xiao who let him in. It turned out to be the Berserk Blood Warrior. Yi Xiao told the warrior that he needed to hire a divine-level golem guardian. The Berserk Blood Warrior replied that divine-level golems are extremely rare, so it was impossible for one to be available for hire. The warrior looked at Yi Xiao from head to toe and told him that hiring a level 0 guardian was already more than enough. Hiring a divine-level golem wasn't something Yi Xiao could afford. Yi Xiao then offered 1 billion per day. The warrior was speechless for a moment. He turned around and replied, 1 billion? Well, technically, it's impossible. Rules are ultimately set by people. By coincidence, I know a divine-level spellcaster who might help. Ebisu was shocked, knowing that a spellcaster was a hidden class. According to Yi Xiao, divine-level spellcasters are incredibly versatile, protection, defense, and offense, an all-in-one package. He believed that hiring a spellcaster from the start would be a great choice, so he agreed to the warrior's suggestion. As per the warrior, he could summon the spellcaster anytime, but he wanted to confirm first. When can Yi Xiao pay the 1 billion? Yi Xiao then confidently said that he could now sign the contract and pay whenever needed. The warrior then got a contract and let Yi Xiao sign it. After signing, a lady appeared behind him and uttered, "Who's the brat that contracted me?" This lady was Dolores, the summoned spellcaster. She stared at Yi Xiao, admiring his handsome face, and introduced herself, proclaiming that she would follow Yi Xiao's orders for the next 24 hours, as stated in the contract. Since her level was too high, Yi Xiao was unable to see her details. Dolores touched Yi Xiao and told him to say what he needed her to do. "Nice to meet you, senior. I've hired you mainly to tackle a very difficult task," Yi Xiao said, but was cut off by Dolores, who told him that all of the monsters in the novice village could be wiped out with a wave of her hand. Yi Xiao then told her they should not waste any more time, and Dolores instructed him to lead the way. Of course, they went back to the newbie village, and Dolores easily fought against the goblins with her flame magic, surprisingly defeating everyone in just a short span of time. At this moment, there were adventurers in the newbie village, and they were shocked to see someone partnered with a spellcaster dealing an enormous amount of damage. One of these guys thought that Yi Xiao was hacking, but another guy said that there was no such thing as hacks. The system window then popped up to congratulate Yi Xiao for successfully reaching level 10 and earning attribute points for free allocation. Aside from that, he was also the first player in Novice Village 9572 to reach level 10, so he earned an additional 10 attribute points. He was also the first player worldwide to reach level 10, so he was awarded an additional 50 bonus attribute points and the title Speed Ascender. "Kid, you've hit level 10 already? The highest among other players isn't even beyond level 5, Ebisu said. Right now, everyone received an announcement that player Night Shah had successfully reached level 10, unlocking the level leaderboard. As expected, everyone was in disbelief since it hadn't even been a full day after the beta began. Yi Xiao believed that many people were now doubting his true ability, But he didn't care at all, as he was confident that everyone would soon realize he was the true god. That should do it. With the level up attribute points and the 100 points earned from spending 1 billion today via wealthy power, it's about time to head to our true destination, Yi Xiao stated. As they headed their way, Ebisu concluded they were now going to the hidden dungeon Yi Xiao had mentioned. Yi Xiao then said, "Yes," and uttered, "Dragon Lair, here I come." Back to the world level leaderboard, only Yi Xiao was on the list since level 10 was the minimum for leaderboard entry. At the same time, in the novice village, another adventurer was fighting against the goblins alone. His username was Stealthwalker, and he was only level 3. He proclaimed that he had been hunting elite monsters since entering the game but was still at level 3. He could not accept that someone was already at level 10 and concluded there was some exploit in the game. He was very curious to know who Nightshaw was, but he was excited, thinking that he had finally found another strong rival. Right now, Yi Xiao was at 9527 Novice Village, deep within Whispering Valley, at coordinates 1102, 254. There were huge rocks along the way, and Yi Xiao touched one of them. A dragon logo appeared on the rock while it shone. The rock suddenly moved and slowly began to rise. It got bigger and bigger until it became a lair. The system then notified Yi Xiao that this was the dragon's lair but warned him to leave since the area was too dangerous. How is this possible? Such an overpowering aura? How could a dragon reside here? There's actually a hidden dungeon? Kid, how did you even find it? Dolores said. Yi Xiao entered the lair, and Dolores followed him. Dolores was nervous and honestly told Yi Xiao that she was not confident she could handle the dragon alone. Yi Xiao then replied, "I'm not dumb enough to fight a dragon. Let's go in and take a look first." According to Yi Xiao, a level 100 Berserker accidentally triggered a hidden quest a year ago and explored the dragon's lair. That person discovered the dungeon entrance was actually hidden in a novice village. At the time, no one believed that person. Everyone thought a high-level dungeon couldn't exist in a novice village, so that player had to venture in alone, but he never returned. Ebisu then asked Yi Xiao how he knew about it, and Yi Xiao replied that he had bought that person's battle footage at a high price and discovered that there was a rare dragon egg inside this dungeon. Both Dolores and Ebisu were shocked as they concluded that Yi Xiao was planning to steal the dragon egg, which was harder than slaying a dragon. Dolores was also annoyed, believing that Yi Xiao was messing with her. Yi Xiao then told her not to be so modest since she was a god-tier sorceress. "Look, it's just a dragon, sister." The great god-tier sorceress could take it down in seconds, Yi Xiao added. The dragon was right in front of them, lying above gold coins and treasures. It is a Tier 5 Holy Judgment Radiant Dragon. Tier 5 dragon? Good thing I brought a teleport scroll, Dolores said. Ebisu was already standing on his shoulder and said, "You go in first. I'll wait outside the cave." Yi Xiao then asked Dolores if they could manage to deal with the dragon. As per Dolores, a Tier 3 dragon alone could destroy an entire guild, and this Radiant Dragon was one of the top-tier dragons, so she believed they only had less than a 1% chance. Yi Xiao then said that what Dolores stated was terrifying, but for him, the dragon's egg was more valuable than he thought, which was why he wanted to get it. But then Dolores turned around, planning to walk away. Yi Xiao offered to pay her double the commission, but Dolores still refused, as she really believed they could not beat the dragon. Yi Xiao then said they would not actually fight the dragon but would only buy some time. Dolores still didn't agree, since she truly believed no one could withstand a Tier 5 Radiant Dragon. Yi Xiao offered to triple the commission, and because of the huge amount of payment, Dolores was forced to accept the offer despite knowing that she was risking her life. At this point, she then activated her magic power and screamed, "I'll go all out. 3 minutes. I can buy you 3 minutes at most." It turned out she was giving Yi Xiao buff attributes. The system then notified Yi Xiao that he had received the blessing of the God of Life, which doubled his life attributes. He also received the blessing of the God of Strength, which doubled his strength attribute. Lastly, he had received the blessing of the God of Agility, which doubled his agility attributes. Dolores then charged to the dragon while informing Yi Xiao that the buff would only last for 3 minutes. She cast her Ice Arrow skill and stated, "Wretched beast, normally I'd fear you, but for these 3 minutes, even you will bow before me." She attacked the dragon using her Ice Arrow, and the dragon roared in agony. While Dolores was fighting with it, Yi Xiao was trying to sneak in, hoping to steal the dragon's egg. He managed to reach the egg and was praying that the dragon wouldn't notice him. The dragon blew a flame, but lucky for Dolores, she managed to avoid it. Dolores then declared that there were only 1.5 minutes left and that she was running out of steam. Yi Xiao tried to carry the dragon egg, but it was heavier than he thought, so he asked Ebisu to help him. Ebisu then said he had never done this shady stuff before, but before he could help, he got startled when an armor was thrown in his position. A huge shadow covered them, and they both were dumbfounded as they saw the dragon staring at them. The dragon was roaring madly. Yi Xiao and Ebisu ran away in fear, and Yi Xiao never let go of the egg while complaining that Ebisu was a useless toad. Yi Xiao was asking for help from Dolores, so Dolores used her ice wall and blocked the dragon. However, the wall only lasted for a few seconds. When the ice wall disappeared, the dragon prepared to blow a Dragon King's breath skill. Dolores then told Yi Xiao and Ebisu to run away as it was too dangerous. The dragon launched its flame, and while they were running away, Yi Xiao asked Dolores why she was also running. Dolores then replied, "Of course I'm running. What do you think I am, invincible? I said 3 minutes, didn't I?" They then jumped outside the dungeon, and despite the struggle, Yi Xiao was glad they managed to bring the egg with them. They then stood beside the dragon, and Dolores said that the struggle was worth it if the egg they stole would hatch a tier 5 dragon. She also reminded Yi Xiao not to forget her commission, and surprisingly, the favorability of Dolores toward Yi Xiao had increased and was now 60. Yi Xiao then declared to contract the beast, and Ebisu was hoping that the egg wouldn't hatch into something strange so the money they paid to Dolores wouldn't go to waste. Right now, Yi Xiao touched the egg as he started the contract. He then uttered, "Success or failure, it all comes down to this. Don't disappoint me." The egg started to crack and suddenly exploded. It turned out that the dragon inside was a green little dragon. The three stared at the dragon, and Dolores said, "It doesn't look like a radiant dragon hatchling. Why does the color seem off? Could it be that the radiant dragon got cheated on?" Yi Xiao checked the system to see the dragon's details. As per the system, the dragon had no nickname yet. It was a level 1 mythical tier Azure-type dragon with 500 strength, 500 constitution, 500 agility, and 500 spirit. About its mythical bloodline, as a mythical tier beast, the Azure Sky Dragon boasted an incredibly robust physique. It gained all stat bonuses upon leveling up, and its HP regen would be 200 per second, the same as its mana regen. Its current HP and mana were at 100%. With 500 strength at level 1, equipping basic gear meant its breath dealt over 2,500 damage. Because of that, Ebisu told him that he really struck gold this time. Dolores also told him that the dragon's hatchling stats were absolutely ridiculous. Plus, it had immeasurable growth potential. If it matured, Dolores was sure its destructive power would be unimaginable. Yi Xiao rubbed the dragon's head and said that he didn't expect it would be so strong, and at the same time, he decided to call the dragon Grey. The dragon roared as a sign that it agreed with the given name. Ebisu suddenly said that with the dragon of Yi Xiao, no one would be able to mistake him as Yi Xiao's pet. When Yi Xiao looked at him, he noticed something in his hand. Ebisu was annoyed at him for addressing him as Toad instead of using his name, but then Yi Xiao ignored his complaint and looked closely at the badge Ebisu was holding. Yi Xiao grabbed the badge and asked the Toad where he got it. Ebisu angrily told him to give it back and stated he got it from the dragon nest. Dolores also looked at it and proclaimed that it might be the Calamity tier mark of ferocity. Of course, Yi Xiao used the system to check the badge's details. Upon knowing more of its details, Ebisu madly asked Yi Xiao to give it back to him as he risked his life just to get it. However, Yi Xiao declared he would borrow it for the meantime as punishment since they almost lost their lives because of Ebisu earlier. "Why should I let you borrow it? 10,000 coins a day. Deal or no deal?" Ebisu replied. Yi Xiao's attitude changed. He became sweet while telling Ebisu they shouldn't talk about money since they were buddies. Still, Ebisu was annoyed and told him to stop with the sweet talk, but of course, he couldn't do more but to let Yi Xiao use the badge. Yi Xiao then put the badge on the chest side of his cloth, laughed, and said that with this badge, farming goblins for him would be like slicing through butter. At this moment, the system window dinged to inform Yi Xiao that he triggered a hidden quest, the Forbidden Adjudicator. The system said that although mighty, the King of Ferocity was consumed by the abyss. The bearer of the Mark of Ferocity must seek the truth. The objective is that Yi Xiao should find the Fong of Ferocity. After reading the quest details, Yi Xiao wondered what the Fong of Ferocity was. Dolores was shocked that he didn't know about it. According to her, the Fong of Ferocity is a god-tier assassin's dagger forged from the fangs of the abyssal beast. It's known as one of the most explosive weapons. She concluded that there was some connection between the mark and the Fong. Yi Xiao then stated that it sounded amazing but worried that reaching the Abyss continent was a long journey. Right now, The system window notified Yi Xiao that his daily game time had reached its limit and he would be forcibly logged out in 3 minutes. Who knew a hidden dungeon in a starter village would take this long? Well, Peachy sister, I'm off. Hit me up if anything comes up. Be sure to prep your coin, Dolores said while opening her portal. Yi Xiao bid goodbye to her, and after she left, Yi Xiao recalled that the Doomsday game was still in beta and hadn't fully merged with reality yet, so he decided to rest up as he also didn't want his body to break down. The next day at Yi Xiao's home, he watched some news about the virtual game Doomsday. It was said that it had taken off in the gaming community, topping discussion charts. There was one who said that the game was hard and killed his hands but only reached level 2. There was also someone who mentioned Yi Xiao's name, wondering about his identity since he was the only one who reached level 10 in just one day. On its first day, Doomsday caused mass player death. Many experienced physical symptoms after logging out, leading to hospitalization. Later, organ failure cases emerged among survivors. Governments issued warnings against entering the game. As Yi Xiao was in front of his computer, he was shocked when he found out that multiple nations were banning Doomsday. He called them weaklings, knowing that when the game merges with reality, they'll all suffer. While checking some news, his phone buzzed as he received a message. The message was from Yanran. She told Yi Xiao to come to Northo Hospital and bring some food for Zhang, then pay his bills so that she would pretend nothing happened between them before. Yi Xiao was annoyed and thought he should block the lady for now. At the hospital, Zhang asked Yanran if she really believed Yi Xiao would come to them after not contacting him for so long. The lady smiled and asked Zhang if he really thought Yi Xiao would dare not to come. Zhang then said that Yi Xiao would definitely come running as he knew that Yi Xiao loved Yanran so much. While talking, the doctor informed Zhang that he could now be discharged early but should settle the bill first. Yanran was shocked and asked the doctor why Zhang needed to be discharged so early. As per the doctor, their hospital was now overwhelmed with patients suffering from organ failure caused by playing Doomsday, and the hospital right now was having a bed shortage. What do you mean short on beds? Does that mean poor people's lives are worthless? Yanran angrily asked, and the doctor answered, "This is a special situation. We ask for your understanding. Please settle your bill and vacate the bed by the end of the day." Zhang chose to understand the situation and told the lady not to argue with the doctor. He also stated that the game really wasn't simple, but he was still planning to get discharged and continue playing. He then asked the lady if she could help him pay the bill first. However, the lady didn't have money since Yi Xiao didn't give her an allowance for the month. Zhang was confused since he was aware Yi Xiao was giving Yanran 200,000 every month for her living expenses. How would I know? He just has a bit of filthy money. Does he really think spending money can win me over? I feel sick just seeing him, Yanran said. Zhang then commanded her to send Yi Xiao another message and ask for some money. He informed her that he was planning to start a Doomsday gaming studio, and he was sure that a big amount of money meant nothing to Yi Xiao and would be helpful to them. The lady then told him not to worry as she would say sweet words to Yi Xiao again when he arrived. They didn't have any idea that Yi Xiao was just in his house sleeping. Yi Xiao's alarm rang. He got up since it was his time to enter the game. He didn't bother to do anything else and immediately entered the game. He arrived at Novice Village 9527. Ebisu was annoyed at him for summoning him so early. Yi Xiao then said that the early frog gets the worm. Also, they needed to level up fast and leave the Novice Village. While walking, Yi Xiao noticed that the number of players had increased. The people around him saw his level and asked him to do teamwork. Yi Xiao then decided to run away from the men, but they were following him as they believed he knew where to level up fast. While running, Ebisu was telling him to run faster. Yi Xiao then said that he never thought so many people would chase him. After a few minutes of running, Yi Xiao arrived at level 10 trial zone, and the men chasing him could not follow anymore, knowing that the monsters in this area were too dangerous. Ebisu was glad that they finally lost the players. Yi Xiao then said that those guys wouldn't dare to come in this area. In this area, there was a castle, and one armored soldier was guarding it. "Hey, kid, this isn't a place for you," the soldier said. Yi Xiao then politely replied that he came to start the advanced trial, but then the soldier gave Yi Xiao a warning that going in alone in solo was basically suicide. Yi Xiao continued to walk straight to the entrance while confidently saying that he has got plenty of his life left to live. The soldier then told him he's just another reckless kid. Yi Xiao stood at the magic circle outside, and an interface then appeared, letting him choose the trial difficulty. Yi Xiao was staring at the options and said that soloing Abyss difficulty might be fine. He then chose it without any hesitation, and the soldier was shocked by his decision. Yi Xiao teleported to the Abyss difficulty of the trial. He proclaimed that he had full bronze gear last time and an elite team but was almost wiped out because he had to carry Yenran. Now he's here for his revenge for the lady's betrayal. He then summoned his dragon, Grey, and said that there is nothing to fear since he's together with a mythical grade beast right now. Yishao noticed something moving behind him. It turned out it was a mutated savage snow wolf, level 10. This beast had 5,000 HP, 5,000 MP, 300 strength, 500 constitution, 300 agility, and 500 spirit, but as per the system, its passive and skill were still unknown. In addition, the savage snow wolf is a mutated abyss creature capable of total destruction. Once it locks on the player, it's as if death itself is coming. It jumped toward Yishao from the grass. Yishao rattled, knowing that this wolf was so dangerous that even a shadow assassin would be desperate. He then commanded his dragon to attack it, and the dragon charged at the wolf, attacking with its Dragon King's breath. Surprisingly, the wolf was instantly deducted 2,500 HP. The dragon continued to attack it until it went berserk. Yishao witnessed his dragon roar using its world-shaking dragon's roar, which was too powerful. The wolf was stunned, but the dragon continually attacked it with its blows until it passed out. The system then congratulated Yishao for defeating one mutated savage snow wolf, and as a reward, his dragon leveled up to level 4. Yishao was so happy. His little dragon's strength was now 700 points, the same as its constitution, agility, and spirit. As per the system, the dragon unlocked another skill, which is Dragon Fangs. Dragons are magic's natural enemy. As the king of dragons, the Azure Sky Dragon silences all magic, dealing 500% spirit magic to the two nearest enemies and sealing their magic for 5 seconds. The cooldown of this skill is only 30 seconds, and Yishao was so excited about this newest skill. Plus, the dead wolf dropped 2 items, a blood wolf fang and a snow wolf bow. These items were both dark gold grade, but their effects were still unidentified. Yishao was satisfied and immediately looted both items while saying that these loots were much better than in his past life. After hiding the bow, Yishao and Ebisu sensed another beast. At this moment, it was a level 10 demonized abyssal tiger. It had 8,000 HP and mana points, with 400 strength, 800 constitution, 300 agility, and 500 spirit points. Its passive and skill were still unknown, but the system said that this beast was a twisted creature born from the abyss. Its power was overwhelming, and once it targeted the player, death was also close behind. Upon seeing it move forward, Yishao immediately commanded his dragon to attack. The dragon then charged toward the tiger, and the tiger did the same while roaring loudly. Half an hour later, after the dragon defeated the tiger, Yishao and Ebisu leaned on the wall outside the trial zone as they finished the trial. Yishao felt exhausted and that his legs were about to fall off. He regretted going solo in the abyss difficulty, as he never thought it would be so hard. As per Ebisu, he had picked up several pieces of equipment already and believed he could make a decent amount of gold once they returned to the city. They got a one-handed spike tiger shield, a gold grade item, and a one-handed pitch black sword, a dark gold grade item. Both items' effects were not yet appraised. Who said we're heading back? Up ahead is where we can challenge the trial boss. I'm here to take it down, Yishao said. You're not joking, are you? Even though we've killed so many monsters, Grey is only level 7. Are you sure it can handle the boss? Ebisu asked. Yishao stood and went straight to the entrance while confidently replying that his dragon could surely handle it, as he knew that the final boss was only at the Lord level, the same as his previous life's abyss trial. Also, he was more confident this time since his dragon had easily taken down 2 demonic monsters. He then summoned his dragon and proclaimed that killing a Lord-level boss would be as easy as slicing vegetables. With Ebisu and his support for the dragon, they entered while Yishao told Ebisu he would show him what it meant to be a pro. But for Ebisu, Yishao sounded more and more unreliable. While walking, the system window informed Yishao that he had fallen into the abyss. After a few seconds, another warning came that he had entered an extremely dangerous area and should escape immediately. But of course, Yishao didn't want to escape. He recalled that he was a man of honor, trapped in love and emotion in his past life, but in this life, he claimed he was the Abyss Envoy wielding the strongest power of the apocalypse. Come on. Let me embrace the Abyss completely, he screamed while standing in front of the boss monster. It was a level 10 king, the Abyss Wanderer. Its health was unknown, its strength was 0, but its constitution was 5,000. Its talent and skills were still unknown, but the system said that this monster was from the Abyss and was returning to the Abyss. Kid, Where's the Lord-level enemy you mentioned? Ebisu asked. But even Yishao was also confused about what was going on. According to him, it was clearly a Lord-level boss in his previous life, and he never thought it would now be a King-level boss. Because of its 5,000 spirit points, he discovered it was a pure magic-based class, with strength and agility at 0. He concluded that it didn't have normal attack damage and its attack speed was extremely slow, but he was sure someone would die if hit by this monster. Kid, if you die, I'm not cleaning up your corpse, Ebisu said. Yishao then stated that a king-level boss wasn't a joke, so he advised his dragon not to use its skills recklessly and to follow his commands. Knowing that the king monster was slow, he wanted Gray to keep changing positions and not engage in a prolonged fight. The dragon then blew a flame while circling toward the king monster. The king was blocking the dragon's flame while the dragon kept attacking the king monster. Yishao was cheering and told it not to let the king cast a skill. Yishao was smiling while giving a command, but because of his loud noise, the monster's attention went to him. The king slowly walked toward him, and right at this moment, Yishao felt off. Ebisu also felt nervous as he sensed the king was going to attack. He then commanded Yishao to dodge, and Yishao dodged while telling Ebisu there was no need to say it. The monster's power was too powerful. The monster attacked once more and only aimed its strike at Yishao. Yishao then asked for help from his dragon as he could not hold on much longer. The flame from the king was all over Yishao. The dragon then attacked the king to help Yishao, and at this time, the dragon harmed the king monster. The dragon roared and let the monster fall on the ground and die instantly. Next time we come to such a dangerous place, can we avoid dragging me along? Ebisu said. The system window at the same time popped up to congratulate Yishao for completing the Abyss trial. As a reward, his dragon reached level 10, and Yishao also received an additional 5 points to all his attributes as the first adventurer to complete the Abyss trial. Yishao then looked at Ebisu and told him he never thought him to be so cowardly. You're not afraid of dying. Why did you run so fast? Ebisu replied. Yishao then walked toward the dead king monster to see what it had dropped. At the same time, all the players of the game received a system announcement that Yishao from the destination had completed the Abyss trial, becoming the first adventurer in history to pass the Abyss trial and earning the legendary title Abyss Envoy. The players were shocked by the news, and the destination was also surprised that the player came from their nation. Knowing that Yishao was on top of the leaderboard, there was a guy from destination who said that Yishao was extraordinary, so he ordered a lady named Shao Qi to investigate. The lady then informed the guy that Yishao was from Zhang City. The guy then commanded one of his men to send someone to Zhang City immediately to investigate. Whoa, someone already reached level 10 on the second day, and he's in the same beginner village as us, Zhang stated. Beside him was Yenran, and he told her that if they could connect to the pro who was first on the leaderboard and form a team, they would definitely rise to fame. If that happened, he believed that the person, a rich second-generation kid, would only look up to them. Do you really think a mere game can help you reach the pinnacle of life? Yenran replied with annoyance. Zhang then told her she must trust his judgment. He then also reminded Yenran about his favor, to contact Yishao to join the game and help them level up, as he knew that Yishao was rich and a game expert. Yenran walked away while telling Zhang she was not contacting him and suggested he contact Yishao himself as she claimed she was not that shameless. Then what about your living expenses this month? Zhang. The lady turned around and grabbed Zhang's hand, then said, Zhang, stop bringing up Yishao. It's so rare for us to have some time alone together. I've never played a game before, so come on and teach me already. Zhang then agreed with her and told her they should first figure out how they could level up. Back to Yizhao's point of view, he had already got the item dropped by the monster, but he was disappointed that it was only a fragment. As per the system, it was an abyssal stone, and its grade was still unknown, the same as its details. Yishao was curious about this fragment since he had never seen this kind of thing in his previous life. He decided to forget about it and planned to find a chance to get it appraised later. He had passed the trial, so he was now leaving the beginner's village and heading to the main city. He exited the hall using a portal and landed back outside in front of the guard. The guard was in disbelief that Yishao had solo cleared the Abyss trial difficulty. Stop wasting time. Get me connected to the main city now. I need to leave this beginner's village, Yishao said. The guard then summoned the portal to the main city, and before Yishao left, the guard congratulated him on passing the trial. Yishao was granted a guide token allowing him to freely enter and leave the main city, and as per the guard, Yishao was now entitled to an epic item, the Badge of Valor, since he cleared the Abyss level advanced trial. When Yi Xiao opened the reward, he saw the epic badge of valor, a proof of a hero. Only those who clear the Inferno level trial are qualified to receive it. This is the Empire's highest honor. It grants an additional 20 points to base stats and an additional 3 points to charisma. Its passive power is that when HP falls below 30%, strength increases by 10% for 1 minute. Yi Xiao then called his pets and informed them they were now going to the main city. Upon entering the portal, they transmitted to Windleaf Main City. Yi Xiao noticed that the place was quiet, and according to him, the job transfer square in his previous life was packed with over 100 people, so coming here early made such a difference for him. "Let's go, we need to find Beast Master Guttle," he said. Ebisu was confused since Yi Xiao was already a Beast Master himself, but Yi Xiao didn't explain further and just told Ebisu he would find out sooner. Meanwhile, they arrived at the area where Beast Master Guttle was staying. They found him sitting outside, and Yi Xiao then approached him, saying that he wanted to transfer his job. However, Guttle told him to find someone else and not bother him. Yi Xiao then said he wanted to transfer to the hidden class of Beast Whisperer, and he believed no one else could handle that class. "Do you think anyone can become a Beast Whisperer? Prove your strength first. Go to the outskirts and bring me 100 eyes from those demon wolves," Guttle replied. The system window then appeared, informing Yi Xiao that Guttle had issued him the quest Eyes of the Demon Wolves. As Guttle said, Yi Xiao must head to the outskirts, defeat 100 elite monsters, which are the Gale Demon Wolves, and bring their eyes back to Guttle. Right now, Ebisu was wondering how Yi Xiao knew about this hidden class, but then Yi Xiao didn't explain it as he continued talking with Guttle. He told Guttle there was no way he would waste his time killing 100 elite monsters. Guttle was disappointed and called him a useless fool. Guttle then told him to get lost and stop wasting his time. Yi Xiao was slightly smiling, telling Guttle that he misunderstood him. He stated that he didn't think he needed to kill any demon wolves, as he believed one item was enough to prove his strength. He showed the epic badge of valor to Gyul, and Gyul was shocked upon seeing it. Gyul stood and told Yi Xiao that he couldn't believe someone so young had already cleared the Inferno level advanced trial. Of course, Yi Xiao corrected him that it was not an Inferno level but an Abyss level. Gyul then asked him how many people were on his team. Yi Xiao proudly replied that he was the only one. Gyul laughed and proclaimed that from the moment he saw Yi Xiao, he could tell he was an extraordinary talent, a true dragon among men. "From the moment you saw me? Didn't you just call me a useless fool not long ago?" Yi Xiao said. Ebisu also stated that Gyul changed his tune faster than flipping a page. Now that Yi Xiao had made Gyul proud, he asked if he could now transfer to being a Beast Whisperer. Gyul instantly agreed but had one request. He'd like to see what kind of beast could pass an Abyss-level trial. Yi Xiao then summoned his dragon, and Gyul was surprised that it was a god-tier beast and, at the same time, a dragon hatchling. Gyul was in disbelief. He stated that in his lifetime, he never thought he'd see a god-tier beast with his own eyes, and according to him, this was his dream beast. Shockingly, he told Yi Xiao that he might not be able to transfer to Beast Whisperer today because the Beast Whisperer isn't worthy of a god-tier beast. It turned out he decided to introduce Yi Xiao to the royal chief beast Tamer. He handed a referral letter to Yi Xiao and instructed him to follow the address to find the chief. Yi Xiao was so happy as he never expected he would get such an opportunity. As he accepted the letter, a system notification then said that he had triggered the hidden class quest Dragon Whisperer. They then headed to their other destination, and while walking, Ebisu told Yi Xiao that he was lucky to be transferred into a hidden class. Yi Xiao then replied that the royal chief beast Tamer was in the royal city, which was far away from their location now, and besides, there were things he must take care of first. Yi Xiao didn't respond directly but told Ebisu to just follow him as he needed to complete another hidden quest. Meanwhile, they arrived at a church. In this church, there was a sexy, lovely lady walking around together with 4 soldiers. It turned out that Yi Xiao came here for the lady. Ebisu thought Yi Xiao was planning to sell him off, but according to Yi Xiao, this lady is Lady Shirelle, the widow of the former city lord, a wealthy and beautiful widow. As he was trying to approach the lady, one soldier blocked his way and asked for his identity. Yi Xiao then politely approached the lady by saying, "Respected Lady Shirelle, why do you always seem sorrowful? Is there a problem I can help you with?" The lady then replied that there was indeed a personal item she had lost. She accepted Yi Xiao's help and stated she would be grateful once Yi Xiao found it. The system window then appeared, notifying Yi Xiao that he received Lady Shirelle's request to retrieve her beautiful flower. "Beautiful lady, rest assured, I'll take care of this for you." After having a deal with the lady, Yi Xiao then wandered around the town. Ebisu was confused, believing that the flower the lady sought should be in the garden or outside the city. Yi Xiao then told him that the lady was not looking for an ordinary flower. Ebisu then asked him if he knew where the flower was. It turned out Yi Xiao could find it in a tool shop. As he entered, he then told the owner that he had heard his shop sold treasure boxes. The owner confirmed it and stated that the treasure boxes he sold could contain prehistoric dragon bones or even legendary grade staff. He then asked Yi Xiao what price range he was looking for, and Yi Xiao confidently replied that he wanted the most expensive one. The owner then grabbed the highest grade treasure box in his store, which amounted to 10,000 gold coins each. As per Yi Xiao, one wasn't enough, so he wanted to take everything the owner had. The owner could not believe he wanted to buy everything, so Yi Xiao once again said that he would take every single one. He ordered the owner to open each box. The first treasure box had a bronze-grade dual-bladed battle axe inside, the next box had one large healing potion, and the third one had one piece of size-increasing bread. They continued opening the treasure boxes and opened a total of 99 boxes within an hour. Now, only one box was left, and Yi Xiao hadn't found what he was looking for. He then told the shop owner to immediately open the last box, and of course, he was expecting that the flower would be in this last box. As he completely opened the box, he finally saw the beautiful flower, but as per the system, its use was still unknown. Yi Xiao grabbed the flower with a smile. At this moment, Lady Shirelle was inside her room, taking her time in a bathtub. She was asking her personal maid if she thought someone would really find the flower for her. The maid then replied, "Of course, lady, with your charm, your luck won't fail you." Another maid came, and this maid was in a rush. She informed the lady that a young man was outside the outskirts asking for an audience, saying he brought the flower the lady requested. The lady was surprised and immediately stood. She then went outside after wearing her clothes. She instantly saw Yi Xiao, and she asked him if he really found the flower she wanted. Yi Xiao then handed her the treasure box and permitted the lady to take a look herself. The lady was thrilled when she saw it with her own eyes. She was so happy that she had finally found it after a long search. "Pardon my rudeness, I'm just so overwhelmed. Young man, you have helped me so greatly. What reward would you like? Money or rare artifacts?" the lady asked. Yi Xiao then honestly answered that he was not interested in her money or artifacts. The lady was blushing and thought Yi Xiao wanted her body, so she offered herself to Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao felt awkward and told her she had misunderstood him. He then proclaimed that he only wanted her to help him obtain citizen status. After saying his request, the system window then appeared and notified him that Lady Shirelle's favorability toward him had increased by 20 points due to his noble actions and outstanding charm. The lady chuckled after hearing what Yi Xiao wanted. She said that getting a citizen status was very easy. She then ordered her maid Eliza to prepare the prayers and her seal before it started. Yi Xiao informed the lady he had another request, that is, for him to purchase some property in Windleaf City and settle down. He handed the map to the lady so she could see the location where he wanted to settle. The lady checked the map while saying that Yi Xiao had a stable choice. According to her, she understands acquiring real estate, but the West District Yi Xiao was eyeing isn't exactly a bustling area, so she asked him if he's really sure with his location choice. Yi Xiao then replied that he was certain of his decision and was hoping she could assist him in making the connections. Luckily, the lady told him she would arrange for someone to contact the real estate agents in the West District. "You brat, why aren't you buying in the prosperous East District? You're intentionally making a loss. That's not how wealth is built," Isu stated. However, Yi Xiao told him he wouldn't understand. He was sure that soon enough, Windleaf City would be attacked by strange creatures. Under the assault of power, even the current city lord would fall in battle, and most of the East District would be destroyed. But the West District, being sparsely populated, wouldn't attract as many monsters, suffering the least damage. Later, it would become the most functional and valuable area of Windleaf City. That was the reason why Yi Xiao invested so much and didn't want to lose such an opportunity. Meanwhile, Yi Xiao had already talked to the agent, and after a discussion, the agent declared that the real estate contracts for his purchase had been finalized. He acquired 340 residential units and 184 commercial properties, totaling 1.2 billion gold coins. The agent asked Yi Xiao when he could make the payment, and Yi Xiao then confidently said that he could pay right now. After the payment, Lady Shirelle then handed Yi Xiao his citizenship documents. Yi Xiao accepted it and asked if he had now officially become a citizen of Windleaf City. To his surprise, the lady replied that he was not a Windleaf City citizen but a first-class citizen of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Ebisu was shocked and told Yi Xiao he had hit the jackpot, knowing that even many powerful warlords don't have first-class citizenship in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Yi Xiao at this moment thought that Shirel was of royal descent, and the lady smiled as she confirmed it. Yi Xiao then seized the opportunity, asking her if she knew the royal beast Tamer. The lady concluded Yi Xiao was referring to her uncle Stir, and she asked Yi Xiao why he was looking for her uncle. Yi Xiao held her hand and told her that he wanted to learn more about the beast tamer professions and related missions. As per the lady, her uncle Stir should be in the imperial capital, and she informed Yi Xiao that her uncle was quite eccentric and unpredictable, but she would try to contact her uncle for Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao then kissed her hand and told the lady that only a kiss was what he could offer to show his gratefulness. The lady was blushing. She permitted Yi Xiao not to call her madam anymore but instead to call her by her name. The system window then appeared again. As it turned out, Yi Xiao gained an additional 20 points for Shirel's favorability toward him. The system also congratulated him for obtaining first-class citizenship in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. As per the system, the prestige ranking had been unlocked, so Yi Xiao could now check the leaderboard. He also successfully acquired real estate, and the regional housing system was now open. All great players' daily game time limit had increased by 1 hour. Look at you fawning over her. Did you just sell your looks or something? Ebisu stated. Yi Xiao laughed and told him he loved seeing him irritated but powerless against him. At the same time, Yi Xiao leveled up to level 11, and his beast companion reached level 11. All notifications he received were also received by the other players, and they could not believe what he had achieved. Some were annoyed, concluding that they were third class since Yi Xiao was first class. They were blaming the developers, but all they could do was complain. Yanran and Zhou Hong were also shocked, but none of them realized that En Sha and Yi Xiao were just one. Yanran sat on the ground and proclaimed that if they had top players like En Sha leading them, they'd probably be level 4 or 5 by now. Zhou Hong agreed with her, and he complained that they were struggling right now, even killing a single slime. Their party was fighting against goblins, and they were annoyed at Zhou Hong and Yanran. Upon hearing them complaining, they told them to leave the party, but Zhou Hong said it was just a misunderstanding. However, Yanran declared she would leave and then walked away with annoyance. Zhang chased her and told her they could not level up now because of what she did, but then the lady got mad and reminded him that he promised to help her level up but ended up insulting him and didn't defend him. Zhang lowered his pride and accepted his mistake. He then asked her if she had already contacted Yi Xiao to play with them, but the lady said it would always be Yi Xiao who contacted her first. However, Zhang begged her to do it, so the lady decided to do what he wanted and informed him she would contact Yi Xiao after she logged off. Zhang was glad and told the lady he would wait for good news. The lady then opened her interface and logged off the game. After logging off, Yanran planned to give Yi Xiao another chance. She was holding her phone to send Yi Xiao a message. She informed Yi Xiao that she was playing a game and wanted him to hurry and buy the equipment, then help her and Zhou Hong level up. She also told Yi Xiao she would consider him as her boyfriend if he would get her into the leaderboard. She was smiling as she sent the message and said, "Good thing I'm a generous girl, I'll forgive you this time." 5 minutes later, she still hadn't received any reply from Yi Xiao. To her surprise, Yi Xiao deleted her from his friend list. She felt insulted, and due to her anger, she vowed that she and Yi Xiao were now completely done. Back to Yi Xiao's point of view, he was in the eastern district of Windleaf City, and he believed his western city would flourish just like the eastern district. Yi Xiao went to an appraisal shop, and as he entered, the shop worker then told him that he only appraised silver-grade equipment and above. Yi Xiao smiled and showed his dark gold-tier equipment. The worker was shocked and told Yi Xiao that the owner would be the one to handle it to ensure success. Yi Xiao then told him to cut the nonsense and tell him the success rate. According to the worker, he was a gold-tier appraiser, highly skilled with over 80% success rate, and he informed Yi Xiao that dark gold-grade appraisals cost 100 gold coins each. Yi Xiao then told him there was no problem at all, and he commanded him to start appraising. Together with his other dark gold pieces of equipment, he put everything on the table, and the worker was once again shocked. Yi Xiao then told the worker to hurry up since he was in a rush. The worker checked the level 10 Night Pendant, and this item had an additional 40 points of spirit, plus 40 points of strength, and minus 20% dark attribute damage. As per the worker, its stats were absolutely insane, and Yi Xiao just said, "Not bad," then continue. After leaving the appraisal shop, Toad smiled and surveyed Yi Xiao with his gaze. "Well, the attributes have indeed been improved quite a bit. Now your strength should be able to stand on its own. Where are we going next?" Yi Xiao thought for a moment, a flicker of thought crossing his eyes. "Sophia hasn't given me any news yet, so let's head to Grey Mist Valley to level up first. Let's go. A few minutes later, Yi Xiao and Toad arrived at Misty Valley. The scene before them was depressing. The sky was shrouded in a gray mist, and a few birds flew by, emitting hoarse cries. Jagged rocks protruded from the ground, some shaped like monstrous fangs, exuding an eerie atmosphere. Toad looked around doubtfully and whispered, "Here? I thought you said this was a level 20 monster area." Yi Xiao nodded, his tone firm. "That's right. This is definitely the place." Suddenly, Yi Xiao's eyes lit up as a group of level 21 gray hyenas appeared before them. Their dull fur radiated a strong sense of hostility, making people uneasy. Yi Xiao frowned. "Why are there so many of these monsters? This is a bit disgusting." Without hesitation, Yi Xiao quickly commanded, "Xia Wei, go deal with them." Xia Wei spread its wings, soared into the air, and spat out a blazing flame, instantly engulfing the gray hyenas. The system popped up a prompt: successfully killed gray hyenas. Experience plus 240, plus 235. Yi Xiao found a relatively hidden spot, sat down leisurely, took a sip of tea and said lightly, "The monsters here are relatively high level. They'll automatically come towards us, so we'll just stay here." Toad raised an eyebrow, revealing a hint of disdain. "You brat, you really know how to enjoy yourself." Yi Xiao let out a light laugh, narrowing his eyes as he gazed into the distance. "Back in the day, I suffered beatings and struggled for survival every day. These days are a real treat." 2 hours later, the system prompted again. "Congratulations to player Yi Xiao on successfully reaching level 12. Your beast, Gray, has also been promoted to level 12. Yi Xiao looked around at the bodies of gray hyenas scattered across the ground and couldn't help but exclaim inwardly, "At this rate, I'll be able to reach level 20 in just a few days." At that moment, he noticed a gleaming scroll lying next to a gray hyena's corpse. Curious, Yi Xiao picked it up and examined it closely, discovering that it read, "Elementary Scroll, Fireball Technique." Toad glanced at the scroll in Yi Xiao's hand and immediately burst into laughter. "Ha! Yi Xiao, you're an animal tamer and you're actually learning fire magic? Doesn't that seem a little ridiculous?" Yi Xiao rolled his eyes and smirked. "You know nothing. It's better to have many skills than to lack them. Just learn it first." Without further ado, he crushed the scroll with force. A surge of magical energy filled the air, and the system prompted, "Congratulations. You have successfully mastered Fireball Technique." Fireball Technique allows you to condense a fireball using magic power, dealing 150% of the caster's mental power as magical damage to the target. Just then, a gray hyena rushed toward him. Yi Xiao, eager to test his new skill, immediately cast Fireball Technique at the hyena. The flame struck the target accurately, and the system displayed, "Attacked by Fireball Technique. Damage value minus 31. Yi Xiao stared at the damage number in shock. "Are you serious? This damage is way too weak." Toad erupted into laughter, mocking unceremoniously, "Your damage is even weaker than Gray's fart." Yi Xiao sighed helplessly, opening the system panel. His game time for this session read 12:49. He checked the time and murmured thoughtfully, "It's getting late. The game will force a logout in 2 hours. The third day of Doom will begin." In other words, the public beta was about to start. A deep light flashed in his eyes. At that time, all players in the Great Sea who are 16 years or older will be forcibly drawn into this dangerous game. The world is about to change drastically. Suddenly, in the real world, the sky darkened as thick clouds rolled in. Flashes of lightning and peals of thunder tore through the sky, creating an oppressive, eerie atmosphere. Without warning, a game panel popped up in front of everyone, displaying the words, "Doom. Enter the game." As this prompt appeared, chaos erupted everywhere. People were in shock and confusion. Enter the game? What the hell is this? Is this some kind of midnight prank? It doesn't seem like it. Then, inexplicably, groups of people were sucked into the game. Some had been relaxing at a bath center, others enjoying a late-night snack, completely bewildered by what was happening. "What's going on? I was just taking a bath, and before I knew it, I was here. I was eating a kebab. Where's my kebabs? Where are the people? Did I just time travel? Ha, I really am the chosen one. Hey, Loan 2, didn't you go to the square to dance? Why are you in the game too?" Chen Yenran found herself suddenly pulled into the game, looking around in confusion. "What's going on? How did I automatically enter the game?" Xiong frowned. "Me too. This is really weird. I was just having a late-night snack with Wang Wan and the others. How did I end up in a game? Xiong turned to Chen Yanran, his tone tinged with urgency. It seems we're not the only ones who got dragged in. This game, Doom, might really be a chance to change the world. By the way, Yanran, I asked you to contact Yi Xiao to help us level up. What happened? At the mention of Yi Xiao, Chen Yanran's expression turned dark with anger. To hell with Yi Xiao. Even if he begged me in tears, I would never speak to him again. Then she smirked slightly, a hint of smugness in her eyes. That said, I do plan to contact the great god Yi Xiao in the game and have him power level us. Xiong's eyes widened in surprise. What? You know the great god Yi Xiao? The Yi Xiao who's ranked first. Chen Yanran smiled confidently. I don't know him yet, but with my looks, there's no man who wouldn't fall for me. Just then, the game issued a new announcement. All individuals in the Great Seat Empire aged 16 and above, regardless of gender or age, are now forcibly logged into the game. The logout screen has been permanently disabled. Players quickly realized they could no longer log out on their own. The system explained, a player's spawn point is linked to their real-world location. The closer you are to your real-world location, the closer your in-game spawn point will be. Each newbie village corresponds to a region. Then came another chilling message. If a player dies in-game, they will not return to the real world. In Newbie Village 001, players anxiously discuss the situation. Now that everyone has been forced into the game, what's going to happen to the world? What about Yi Xiao? Isn't he the #1 player on the leaderboard? Does he know how to quit the game? He leveled up so quickly during the closed beta. He must know something. We have to find him. Elsewhere in Novice Village 001, a man reported grimly, so far, we found no way to exit the game. We may be trapped in here forever. The player with the ID immovable as a mountain spoke in a low voice. Things have actually gotten this serious? What about Yi Xiao? Any news from the #1 player? A subordinate shook his head. We can't contact him. He's already level 12 and no longer in the newbie village. No one can log out right now. Immovable as a mountain remained calm. What about XN Kuang? He can't log out either, the subordinate added. XN Kuang is only level 4. He's been leveling with a team, but Doom's difficulty is way too high. Many players are still stuck at level 2. Mountain unmoved raised an eyebrow, and his face turned cold. There are really such characters in Jainin? Yi Xiao is indeed not simple. Pass the order down and do your best to find Yi Xiao's whereabouts. At this time, Yi Xiao suddenly received a message from Lady Shelley telling him to go to the Duke's mansion and that progress had been made in the investigation. Yi Xiao did not expect to get news from the royal animal trainer so quickly, and a feeling of joy welled up in his heart. This speed is truly surprising. Not long after, Yi Xiao's figure appeared at Lady Shelley's mansion. Seeing him, Lady Shelley smiled brightly and said softly, "You finally arrived. I've missed you so much." Yi Xiao couldn't help but feel his heart race at her alluring smile. This is way too seductive. Who could resist that? He shyly muttered. He quickly shifted the topic, asking, "Any updates on the royal beast Tamer?" Lady Shelley smiled faintly, replying, "Don't rush. Uncle Stir is traveling and can't spare the time just yet." Yi Xiao thought he was going to be disappointed again, but Lady Shelley continued, "However, Uncle Stir did send a message through me about unlocking a hidden profession. It's not that difficult. It's actually right here in Windleaf City." Yi Xiao was overjoyed. Right in Windleaf City? He thought to himself, I thought I'd have to travel far and wide. Turns out the treasure is just around the corner. Lady Shelley went on, but it might be a bit challenging. According to Uncle Stir, beyond Windleaf, in Dragon's Ridge, there's a powerful dragon guarding its lair, and beneath the lair is a labyrinth. Yi Xiao's eyes lit up. You mean the dungeon labyrinth? Lady Shelley was taken aback, not expecting him to know the name of the labyrinth. Yi Xiao quickly laughed it off. I just heard about it by chance. Of course, he was well aware of the dungeon from his past life, having run it countless times. Yi Xiao, somewhat confused, remarked, I heard there's just an 80-level mutated boss there. How did it turn into a dragon? Lady Shelley firmly replied, there is indeed a dragon guarding it. This puzzled Yi Xiao even more. Wasn't it a mutated boss in the past life? Had it turned into a dragon now? He decided to stop overthinking it and just go. At that moment, Lady Shelley stopped him and asked, are you really planning to go alone? That's an 80-level area. Even the elites of the city would be risking their lives. Just then, the system prompt sounded. Ding dong. System notification. Stir has sent a message. Please go to the unknown labyrinth and retrieve something from within. Yi Xiao remained calm and collected, flashing a confident smile. Don't worry, my dear Lady Shelley, I've got this under control. He added with a smirk, as long as the money flows, even a dragon can fall. And when it comes to dragon-slaying gigs, my big sis Zhang Nai is the best in the business. With that, he pulled out a mysterious token, shimmering with ancient runes, ready to summon her. Lady Shelley's eyes widened the moment she saw it. Wait, is that a token of the Supreme Hall? Yi Xiao, you're only level 12. How did you even get your hands on this? A moment later, a sultry figure emerged from a swirl of light, her voice dripping with playful charm. Oh Hots, who's calling for your lovely big sister again? Oh, it's my cute little Yi Xiao. Miss me already? Yi Xiao chuckled. Zhang Nai, I've got a huge business deal for you. Big money. Big thrill. Hearing the word business, Zhang Nai's eye twitched. Don't tell me it's another. She narrowed her eyes. Wait, it's a dragon job again, isn't it? Yi Xiao shrugged innocently. You really do see through everything, Zhang Nai. Yep, it's a dragon. Zhang Nai's expression darkened instantly. A dragon again? Do you have a death wish? Or a lifelong feud with the dragon race? Last time we stole a dragon egg, I nearly busted my back. No way, I'm out. Just as she turned to leave, Yi Xiao dropped the bait. Same rate as last time. 200 million credits upon completion. Zhang Nai froze mid-step, her resolve visibly wavered. I mean, I'm not saying no, but my back really isn't ready yet. Maybe in a month or so. If you're not in a hurry. Yi Xiao smiled slightly. Well, what if I told you I know the location of a sacred spirit spring? Zhang Nai was utterly stunned. Yi Xiao actually knew the location of the sacred spirit spring? Her voice trembled with excitement. You're not joking, right? If you really know where it is, then even if I have to risk my life, Big Sis will go with you. Yi Xiao clapped his hands decisively. Great. Then we're heading out right now. The sheer decisiveness of it stunned Zhang Nai for a second. As she followed him out in quick steps, she kept pressing, Hey, seriously, where is it? Tell Big Sis, Yi Xiao calmly replied, the Lost Land. What? Be more specific. What's the exact coordinate? She urged. Behind them, Lady Shelley watched the duo disappear into the distance, her expression tinged with awe. This Yi Xiao, he's becoming more unpredictable by the day, she murmured. Maybe one day he really will become a god-tier powerhouse. At the same time, Yi Xiao's system pinged, Lady Shelley's favorability +10. Meanwhile, outside Newbie Village, a player lay sprawled on the grass, looking pale and lifeless. Someone whispered, Wang Chong got hacked down by goblins twice after his last respawn. He had organ failure. Panic broke out among the surrounding players. What the hell? This game actually kills people? I want to go home. Stop yelling. Everyone wants, but no one knows how to quit. I heard someone already hit level 12. Maybe we can find him and ask. Soon, Yi Xiao's team arrived at the Dragon Ridge Mountains. Toad glanced around, clicking his tongue. Man, this place is stunning. Doesn't look like it'd hide a dragon at all. Zhang Nai narrowed her eyes and replied coolly, the prettier the scenery, the deadlier the trap. Besides, we're aiming for the labyrinth. Skip the mobs if we can. Yi Xiao nodded in agreement. The monsters here are level 80. Without Zhang Nai or a buff, we'd have been mobbed to death by now. In the distance, a massive shadow glided across the sky. It was a dragon, its wings cutting through the clouds like a blade, its gleaming scales glinting in the sunlight. Zhang Nai's expression darkened. Kid, are you sure you know where this maze entrance is? That thing's a tier 5 dragon. I'm not signing up to become roasted meat. Yi Xiao's gaze remained firm. Relax, we won't be spotted. The maze entrance is just below that steep cliffside on the mountain's edge. Sure enough, they soon arrived at a concealed stone cave. At the mouth of the cave, a glowing teleportation array was etched into the rock, ancient, intricate, and eerie. Zhang Nai stepped forward cautiously, inspecting it. This is some next-level arcane design. But strange, there's no trace of lingering mana. I don't think I can activate it. Without a word, Yi Xiao pulled out a dagger and calmly sliced across his palm. He pressed his bleeding hand against the core of the formation. Instantly, the array flared to life, glowing with an eerie blue light, emitting a low hum, like a whisper from another world. The stone gate groaned open. Zhang Nai's eyes widened in awe. Who exactly are you? That array responded to you like it recognized you. A sudden system prompt echoed. You have entered a high-risk zone. This labyrinth has only one exit and is currently infested by unidentified aberrant creatures. Proceed with extreme caution. And then came the countdown, time remaining, 180 minutes. Yishao thought to himself, 3 hours? The time limit in my previous life was 3 days. As expected, things are a bit different now, it's been shortened. Seeing the thoughtful look on his face, Dolores reminded him, Yishao, I have to tell you, this mission is even more terrifying than facing a Tier 5 dragon. Are you sure you can get those items? Yishao gave a light chuckle and said, Sister Tazang Nai, you're a God-tier spellcaster. Don't tell me you're scared. Dolores didn't expect this brat to underestimate her and angrily slapped her thigh. Scared? Are you kidding me? I'm a god-level powerhouse, an elder of the Supreme Hall, one of the top spellcasters. How could I possibly be afraid of a little creepy maze? Yishao smiled and said, Fair enough, then. Let's get going. Oh, by the way, Sister Tazang Nai, do you know stealth magic? Dolores's expression turned grim. What kind of question is that? Are you insulting me? Stealth magic is such a low-level spell. I already looked down on it back when I was just an apprentice. Yishao quickly tried to calm her down. Please don't be angry, Sister Tazang Nai. I just meant a spell that hides our presence and aura. That would work just fine. Dolores let out a cold snort and snapped her fingers. In an instant, the two of them vanished into thin air, and even their presence silently disappeared. Yishao was amazed. As expected from a god tier, absolutely perfect. Then Yishao explained, there are 5 weird monsters in the maze, 3 level 60 crawling creatures, 1 level 60 elite boss, and 1 regular level 80 eerie monster. We need to be careful. You know that much? Were you a prophet? Yishao smiled. You could say that. I do know a few things. That answer made Dolores even more curious. Creepy, what else do you know? When they reached a checkpoint, Yishao whispered, we need to sneak past quietly. Don't disturb these monsters. Watch my footsteps carefully. Dolores flipped her hair impatiently. Are you serious? Trying to teach me how to do this? Do you even know what level you are compared to me? I've cleared more mazes than you've walked roads. Before she could finish her sentence, Yishao had already darted forward like a shadow, leaving only a blur behind. Did you catch my footwork? In a blink, Yishao darted past the lurking monster, his body gliding through the shadows like a phantom, narrowly dodging a fatal encounter. Tazang Nai stood there dumbfounded. What the hell? You brushed past a level 60 elite, and it didn't even notice. Who's the master now? You're the master. Hell, your whole family's a master. Despite her dramatic reaction, she followed smoothly, also slipping past without triggering an alert. The moment they regrouped, tension spiked. The next battle could start any second. Yishao narrowed his eyes. It's here. Just as I suspected, but this one's not like the one from my past life. Looming before them was the maze's final sentinel, the Shadow Wraith Beast. Its aura was suffocatingly cold, as though it chilled the very air around it. Yishao attempted to check its stats but only got undetectable. He turned to Tazang Nai and asked, Can you see its level? Tazang Nai replied calmly, Level 100, a berserk aberrant boss. Powerful, yes, but nothing I can't handle. Yishao's eyes lit up with excitement. Perfect. I'll go grab the treasure chest, hidden class scroll, here I come. Tazang Nai, once I move, strike fast. Tazang Nai gave a playful smirk. Don't worry. I'll give you an absolute defense buff. Nothing will touch you. Even as he ran, Yishao called out, Be careful. One wrong move and that beast will come straight for us. Toad muttered, You should worry about yourself first. At last, Yishao stood before the ornate chest, his eyes glowing with anticipation. The hidden class scroll, it's finally within reach. But just as Yishao opened the treasure chest, his expression darkened. The contents were completely different from what he remembered in his past life. At that moment, the Shadow Wraith Beast suddenly turned its razor-sharp gaze, locking onto him like a predator spotting prey. It lunged toward him without warning, but before it could strike, Tazang Nai snapped her fingers and cast Frost Shock, freezing the beast mid-charge. What are you waiting for? Run, she shouted, her voice echoing in the dim maze. The ice shattered seconds later as the beast roared, breaking free and charging again. Yishao bolted, shouting at the top of his lungs, Tazang Nai, help me. Without hesitation, Tazang Nai summoned a 5 thunder array, lightning crackling and tearing through the air. The Shadow Wraith Beast convulsed violently, paralyzed by the electric storm. Seizing the moment, Yi Xiao pulled up his loot menu, an ancient sheepskin scroll and a glowing Heavenfall grade cooldown reset stone. Toad gawked beside him. Holy crap, kid, you've got insane luck. Yi Xiao was equally stunned. Heavenfall grade cooldown reset. That means the cooldown on my Ruthless chapter will drop to just 3 days. That's crazy. Zhang Nai gave the stunned beast a sidelong glance and asked coyly, so, what now? Do we finish it off or let it live? Attack now, Yi Xiao roared. Zhang Nai, go full throttle, blasted into dust. Zhang Nai cracked her knuckles with a wicked smile. You asked for it. Time for a massacre. She unleashed a thunderous 5 thunder spell, bolts of lightning exploding across the battlefield like a storm unleashed. The Shadow Wraith Beast's eyes turned crimson, letting out a spine-chilling screech that echoed through the entire maze. Yi Xiao narrowed his eyes. What's with all the howling? Is it going berserk? Toad chimed in, or maybe it's calling for backup. As if to answer their question, a massive dragon's claw suddenly tore through the ceiling above. A full-grown dragon had arrived. Yi Xiao's jaw dropped. No way, it was summoning a dragon? The dragon roared and unleashed a wave of searing fire, scorching everything in its path. The team scattered, dodging the inferno. This doesn't make any damn sense, Yi Xiao shouted. Since when can a dungeon boss call in a freaking dragon? Are they roommates or what? Toad wheezed, ask it yourself, genius. Maybe the Wraith Beast and the dragon share a mailbox. Zhang Nai gritted her teeth. This is bad, it's in a berserk state and my slowing spells won't work anymore. Run now. Toad screamed. Move your ass, kid. That thing's coming straight for you. Yi Xiao narrowed his eyes and sneered. Run? It's gone berserk to gamble its life? Fine, I'll gladly collect the debt. Zhang Nai gasped in disbelief. That's a level 100 monster. You're just level 12, are you insane? But Yi Xiao remained calm as ever. With the cooldown stone and the savage scripture together. I need to test the firepower firsthand. He raised the savage scripture, roared at the Wraith Beast and shouted, Die now. System prompt. Damage dealt, 242. Leah stared in disbelief. Wait, what? Only 242 damage? Is my luck cursed or what? The Toad was panicking. Hey, if you die here, don't count on me to bury you. But then something insane happened. The Wraith Beast suddenly convulsed violently. System critical prompt. Savage execution triggered. Total damage, 933,262. The beast collapsed with a thunderous crash, and another system notice popped up. Target HP below 20%, instant death effect triggered. In an instant, Lu Zhao's level shot up to level 20, and the system followed up. Level cap reached. Beastma's level also increased to 20. Is this even real? A level 100 nightmare boss got shredded by a rookie at level 12? This is absurd. News of Yi Zhao's level up instantly exploded on the world announcement, and the player base collectively lost its mind. What the hell? A first kill on a level 100 boss? Is this even the same game we're playing? Either there's a serious bug in the system, or Yi Xiao is not a normal player. But the celebration was short-lived. The death of the boss enraged the dragon, roars echoed across the mountains, and the entire dungeon began to collapse. Ta Xiang's voice turned urgent. The place is falling apart. Run, you fool. Yet Yi Xiao stood his ground. Wait, I haven't collected the loot yet. Are you insane? Ta Xiang snapped, activating a teleportation portal. Grab your damn life first. Yi Xiao gritted his teeth, then finally relented. Fine. I'm not dying for a few shinies. He dashed into the portal, and a second later, the entire dungeon imploded, collapsing into rubble and dust. The team emerged, shaken, breathless, and adrenaline-fueled. That was insane, exciting but terrifying. Just when they thought they'd escaped danger, a massive shadow loomed overhead, casting the world beneath in molten red. Looking up, they saw it, the divine judgment flame dragon. Majestic and monstrous, its scales glowed with divine wrath. Ta Shai froze. Crap, that's a Saint Fire dragon. Yeah, I'm out. That's above my pay grade. Good luck, kids. Remember, send me the location of the sacred spring and my payment. Bye. And just like that, she vanished with a flash, leaving only her echo behind. Back in Windleaf City, Yi Xiao wasted no time and headed straight to Lady Xi's estate. Upon seeing him return, Lady Xi's eyes lit up with amazement. You actually brought something back from that cursed labyrinth? Remarkable. Simply remarkable. Yi Xiao responded with a casual smirk. Oh, just a little errand. Barely broke a sweat. The toad chimed in, rolling his eyes. Barely broke a sweat? You nearly lost your life in there. Now that I have the parchment, Yi Xiao said, how do I unlock the hidden class? But Lady Shari shook her head. This isn't an ordinary class change scroll. Yi Xiao looked puzzled. She explained, according to Uncle Steer, this parchment doesn't assign you a profession. It awakens your latent potential and guides you toward a path that belongs to you alone. With a cryptic smile, she added, come with me. I'll take you to him. They made their way into a secluded chamber hidden deep within a manor. A composed, enigmatic man stood up as they entered. Welcome, young one. I am Stare, the person you seek. Yi Xiao bowed respectfully. Master Stare, it's an honor. I've come to undergo the hidden class awakening. Stare glanced at the parchment, his voice filled with quiet reverence. I once thought no one would ever walk this path again, but fate has its own rhythm, it seems. He looked Yi Xiao straight in the eyes. Very well. Let me guide you through this awakening. Are you ready? Yi Xiao nodded resolutely. I'm ready. Stare gave a faint smile. Excellent. The parch will awaken the deepest essence within you. Follow the voice of your soul. Do not resist. Do not fear. As his voice fell, 5 radiant crystal orbs began to float around Yi Xiao, forming a silent, glowing circle. Moments later, each orb lit up one after another, casting brilliant beams across the chamber. Stare's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible! All 5 orbs are glowing. Yi Xiao had achieved the legendary Supreme Awakening. With a mix of awe and admiration, Stare explained, those crystals represent one's potential. When I awakened my class years ago, I could only ignite 3. But he lit all 5 and even caused an overflow of energy. This young man, is he even human? Lady Ch's eyes sparkled with admiration. Perhaps he was never ordinary to begin with. System notification. Congratulations. You have successfully completed the Beast Tamer class awakening. You've unlocked the unique hidden class, Dragon Whisperer. Due to an infusion of unknown power, your class tier has been elevated, transcending the standard class limit. New class unlocked. Divine Hidden Class, Beast God Sovereign. As Yi Xiao scrolled through the insane list of talents and stats under Beast God Sovereign, he couldn't help but marvel. These stats are absolutely broken. Stare was still in shock. Unbelievable. Someone has truly managed to become the legendary Beast God Sovereign. That means you now wield the supreme power of the Beast Gods. Each level grants you a staggering 40 attribute points. Yi Xiao looked down at the parchment in his hand, murmuring, such attribute bonuses, it's beyond imagination. And this Divine Beast Tamer set even comes with a complete blueprint, a growth-type gear starting at epic rarity. Interesting, but the materials needed, they're all rare grade. Looks like it's time for some monster hunting. Stare nodded in satisfaction and patted his shoulder. Young man, you've stepped into the domain of gods. Your potential is limitless. Your future, extraordinary. Yi's eyes were full of determination. I'll ascend to the very peak. But first, I need to forge the claw of the beast god. Meanwhile, in another corner of the game world, 3 players arrived at the entrance of the Abyss Trials. The guard at the gate gave them a quick once-over. Your equipment's decent. Which tier of the trial do you plan to challenge? The leader stepped forward with a calm smile. I'll take on the Abyss tier alone. The guard's expression changed. Another lunatic going solo into an Abyss trial? But the player simply replied, challenge is my creed. Even death won't shake my resolve. As he watched the player disappear into the trial chamber, the guard muttered to himself, these outsiders, they really are something else. Just 5 minutes later, the same player stumbled out, badly wounded and barely breathing. The guard looked at the battered player and sighed. Seems like not just anyone can solo an Abyss tier trial after all. Meanwhile, Yi Xiao had arrived at the Grand Rift, a level 20 trial zone designated as Abyss level difficulty. He glanced at his communicator. Some of his classmates were chatting in a group, even mentioning rumors about him, but Yi Xiao had no interest in revealing his identity. All he wanted was to quietly level up and grow stronger. At that moment, Little Ash was engaged in battle with a massive stone golem. With a swift swipe of its dragon claw, Little Ash tore through the air, slicing a massive chunk of HP, 2,364 damage, off the golem. The stone golem collapsed with a thunderous crash, dropping 2 weapons, Rockbreaker Hammer and Stone Greatsword, both of dark gold rarity. As Yi Xiao was testing the new weapons, a tremor suddenly shook the ground. From the depths of the canyon emerged an even larger stone golem, the Abyss Watcher, a king-class boss. Yi's expression turned serious. "Little Ash, attack," he commanded while flanking from the side to provide cover. A fierce battle ensued, but with seamless teamwork, the king-class boss was ultimately brought down by Ye and Little Ash. Unfortunately, the boss didn't drop any gear this time, only a single shard of the Abyss Stone remained. The blue-haired girl looked back in disbelief and said, "Impossible? Yi Xiao must have exploited some loophole to pass the Abyss trial." Hearing that, the red-haired girl responded, "It's possible." Suddenly, system notifications flashed across everyone's screens. Player from Xia country, Yi Xiao, has passed the level 20 Abyss trial. He is the first player in history to do so and will be rewarded an epic grade item, Stone of Valor. Xia country War Zone Point +1. This is an official announcement. Both girls were left in shock. Meanwhile, Yi Xiao took the glowing stone in his hand and examined it curiously. Upon inspection, he noticed, killing the Wanderer dropped Fragment X1, and now the Watcher has dropped Fragment X2. What exactly is this thing? He wondered aloud. Could it be used to synthesize divine equipment? Suddenly, a toad croaked. "You brat, stop dreaming about it." Unbothered, Yi Xiao shrugged, opened a portal and said, "Forget it. No matter what, things will work out when the time comes. Now it's time to head back." Just as he exited the portal gate, someone called out, "Congratulations." Looking up, Yi Xiao saw a guard clad in armor, holding a box in hand. "You've passed the trial. Here is your reward," the guard said. As Yi Xiao opened the box, a system notification appeared, Stone of Valor, Grade, Epic. This stone possesses extraordinary power. It can be used to enhance the badge of bravery. Eyes wide with excitement, Yi Xiao exclaimed, "Wow, it's actually an item to enhance the badge of bravery." Without hesitation, he took out the badge and said, "Then what are we waiting for? Let's enhance it right now." A moment later, another system notification appeared, Badge of Bravery is now legendary. Description, a proof of bravery. Only those who pass the Abyss difficulty trial can obtain it. This is the Empire's supreme honor. After enhancement with the Stone of Bravery, it has become even stronger. Base attributes +50, all attribute resistance +5%, charisma +3, power of bravery, passive when HP drops below 30%, strength increases by 10%, spirit increases by 10%. Duration, 5 minutes. Laughing with joy, Yi Xiao shouted, "Ha! Success! A legendary grade badge." Turning to the dragon beside him, he said, "With this legendary badge, going to the level 30 area will be a piece of cake. Xiao Hui, let's go." Just as they were leaving, another system notification suddenly appeared before everyone. System maintenance. The game will be closed soon. Yi Xiao stared at the notification and muttered, "What's going on? Can we exit the game and return to reality now?" Somewhere else in the world, other players began to gossip nervously, "What the hell is system maintenance? Can we finally exit the game?" One cried out, "I want to go home. I want to find my mom. This is great." Cheers erupted as they realized they could finally return to the real world. Then, a massive magic circle appeared, and one by one, players logged out of the game. In the real world, the news spread like wildfire. After the Xia country, the United States has also been enveloped by apocalypse. Experts predict that this supernatural phenomenon, the game, will gradually sweep across the globe. Falling asleep will automatically enter the game. Apocalypse has become a problem that all of humanity must face. What does the future hold? Player Meng Huchu Long has died. How terrifying is the Abyss difficulty trial? What future awaits ordinary players? Meanwhile, on the latest livestream, headlines read, "Latest updates on Apocalypse and discussions on leveling up quickly." Today, we are honored to have top player Qing Feng Chuizhu. Player Qing Feng Chuizhu, a team to conquer the hard difficulty advancement trial. In today's livestream, he will discuss whether dying in the trial truly affects reality. Intrigued, Yi Xiao leaned in and said, "Qing Feng Chuizhu? That ID sounds unfamiliar. I want to see what skills Qing has." The reporter asked, "Qing Feng Chuizhu, as the first player to pass the hard difficulty advancement trial and the first since Yi Xiao to pass an advancement trial, how do you feel?" The guy replied he could only say he was lucky. Also, he had to clarify, he didn't pass the advancement trial alone, he led his team to barely clear it. The reporter pressed on, Given that players now enter the Apocalypse game whenever they sleep, what are your thoughts? The guy answered, regarding the existence of Apocalypse, the officials still had no explanation, but surviving in Apocalypse was far more complicated than it seemed. The reporter then brought up the most burning topic. However, we've also learned that Yi Xiao, a player from Xia country, has cleared the Abyss difficulty trial twice. As a fellow top player, what do you think? The guy responded seriously. He must say, Yi Xiao and he were not even comparable. Even if all the other players on the ranking list combined their strength, they might not even be his match. Someone watching the broadcast muttered in awe, even if all the ranking players combined, they might not be his match? If I could make someone like him work for me, I'd have absolute power in the Apocalypse world. The guy turned around with a sharp look and ordered, Butler Fu, use all available resources to find out everything about this Yi Xiao. Butler Fu nodded firmly, yes, young master. I'll take care of it immediately. On the other hand, while looking at his laptop, Yi Xiao said calmly, the game unexpectedly underwent system maintenance, forcibly logging out all players. Players can only enter the game by falling asleep? It seems that the Apocalypse game's invasion of reality is progressing slower than in his previous life, but this is actually a great opportunity for him to level up quickly. Also, for Beast Tamers, level 30 is a crucial milestone. At level 30, they unlock an additional beast slot. No need to think about it for now. He'll just level up to 30 first. Our boy didn't give a damn about anything other than the game. Sometime later, at Tag, a level 30 Grey Mist Valley, he commanded his dragon in battle against a stone monster, shouting, Xiao Hui. Use shock and stun attack. The dragon unleashed its power, stunning both stone monsters, and Yi Xiao grinned wide. Yes, that's it. Xiao Hui, you're getting stronger and stronger. Right after that, the dragon followed up with a fire attack, obliterating the stone monsters completely. The system chimed. Both of them had leveled up to 24. Laughing triumphantly, Yi Xiao exclaimed, another level up. Meanwhile, as the world rankings updated, people all over began reacting, damn it. His level rose again. The gap is more than twice as high as the second place. This is ridiculous. This is insane. If this isn't cheating, he wouldn't believe it. Another player cried out. He thought leveling up would get harder at higher levels, so other players should have been catching up to him, but instead, the gap has widened. The screen flashed. Number 1, Yi Xiao, level 24. Number 2, Qing Feng Chui Zhu, level 10. One guy approached his team leader and said, their opponent was never Yi Xiao. Reaching that level, boss, you're already outstanding. The boss replied, they may not be the best, but they're still better than most. Getting second place is good enough. Another party member chimed in, yeah, that's right. Besides, they still hold 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place. The story then shifted to beginner village number 9527, Dragon's Nest, where one dragon muttered to another, that egg has been missing for days. Yet you're still hiding in this dark corner, sleeping peacefully? One was the glorious dragon, and the other was the fire dragon. Fire dragon responded seriously, as the dragon prophet, you bore the fate of their entire race. Glorious dragon replied, have you not sensed it? That human carries an aura we despise. Fire dragon asked, are you saying the repulsive gods? No, impossible. How could a mere human insect possess such power? Glorious dragon answered gravely, I am the dragon prophet. I sees further than you, and I am willing to entrust our race's future to this mortal. Fire dragon growled in frustration, no. You are acting too recklessly. More chapters available on my second channel. Search Manhwa Explainer, or click the link in the description. Or simply search the title of this video to find more. While flying, Glorious Dragon said, no time. Darkness will transcend time and space, engulfing everything. This mortal is the last hope. Then he urged, come with me. I said, this is the last hope. Fire Dragon questioned, are they really going to entrust the survival of the dragon race to a mortal? At Wind Leaf Main City, after some time, some people exclaimed, it's not easy, but they finally arrived at Fengye Main City. The team boss confirmed, yes, apart from Yi Xiao, they should be the first players to arrive at Fengye Main City. Another guy from the team added, that's right. Suddenly, someone shouted, help. The team looked up and they froze in shock as the boss said, is it a giant dragon? And the person screaming for help was none other than Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao shouted, who will save him? The Holy Judgment Dragon is arresting people. Toad snapped, stop shouting. Who do you think has the power to save you? People looked up in disbelief and whispered, I have never seen a dragon this big. And, it seems the dragon has captured someone. The team boss's eyes widened. Is it, Yishao? Impossible. Even if you reach level 100, you can't possibly be associated with a dragon of this level. One team member asked, Boss, what should they do? Should they chase him? The boss barked, What are you chasing? That's the Holy Judgment Dragon. If it sneezes, we'll be wiped out. Meanwhile, people began sending frantic messages in the system. Breaking news. A giant dragon boss suddenly appeared outside Fengye City, one of the main cities, and an unlucky player was captured. Qing Feng Chuizhu's boss revealed. The player suspected of being in the, and chaos followed with players shouting, What does it mean to be captured by a dragon? Ordinary players said so, top players said so, and even the big guys on the leaderboard said so. Even outside of system chat, people were buzzing. Have you heard? Master Yishao was captured by 2 giant dragons. What? Really? I haven't seen a dragon yet. So Yi Shen is dealing with dragons now? No wonder his level is so high, he's a dragon power leveler. That upgrade must be awesome. Master Yishao is actually able to come into contact with creatures of this level? Simply incredible. The dragons carried him to a faraway place, and Yishao, looking at them, muttered, Why do these 2 dragons look so familiar? Toad retorted, Nonsense. Have you forgotten all the good things you've done? I told you not to provoke the dragon. Yishao thought to himself, This is the end of the matter. One of them had his eggs and home stolen by me, and the other one seems to be in great danger. Fire Dragon approached him and asked, Mortal, aren't you afraid? Yishao replied boldly, Kill or chop me up, it's up to you, but inside he was panicking, How can I not be afraid? Who is not afraid? Suddenly, Glorious Dragon said, Mortal, you don't have to be afraid. Because the dragon egg you took away is the last hope of our tribe. I brought you here to give you a chance. Yishao blinked, You mean? Xiao Hui. Fire Dragon stomped his foot in fury and yelled, Xiao Hui. How can it be so unreasonable to give my dragon race such a shameful name? Yishao scratched his head, Huh? Is it terrible? Xiao Hui really likes this name. Abruptly, Glorious Dragon said, Time is running out, let's get down to business first. Fire Dragon nodded, Okay. Then both dragons flew up high and chanted together, In the name of the dragon god. The sight made Yishao panic, What are you going to do to me? I was just joking. As long as you keep my life, I can do anything. Toad slowly backed off, I'm not very familiar with him, and stealing dragon eggs really has nothing to do with me. Suddenly, energy surged from the stone statue near the platform. The dragon stone statue's eyes lit up and blasted radiant energy at Yishao. Bestowed, the blessing of the dragon clan. Except the infusion of the dragon god's power, echoed around. After some time, a system notification appeared before everyone. Today's report, Xia still has the upper hand, occupying the top 100 in the ranking list. The storm is brewing again, and the second place on the list has changed again. Genie Yeshing shows his strength as a top assassin, rushing to level 14, successfully replacing Mingming Ryue and widening the gap. Yi Shao is still at the top of the list, but his rank has not changed for 3 days. Has the new god fallen? Since being taken away by the dragon, Yi Shao has remained at level 30 for more than 3 days. What is the secret behind this? People start buzzing about him. Does anyone know what's going on now? What happened to Yishin? I didn't expect that this guy is always elusive, but judging from his past progress, it is very likely that something unexpected happened. My goodness, he was captured by a giant dragon. Is something particularly exciting going on? Does the giant dragon like this? Do you think Night God has reached some kind of pay deal with the dragon? The dragon helps him level up, that's why he's so powerful. Now that his level has gone up, it's time for him to pay the price. I'm going to take his ass. One guy says, he must have used some special means to occupy the first place. Now that the means are exposed, he has been sanctioned. Another guy chimes in, let me tell you, I have a buddy who knows some inside information. Yi Shao is in trouble this time. He won't be able to get out for 3 days, let alone 30 days. The first guy questions, your buddy knows the inside story? Which buddy is he? Even top masters like Mingming Ryue said they don't know, so where does your buddy come from? The other guy arrogantly replies, I can't explain it clearly to you. You have too narrow a vision. Do you know that there are masters among the people? Even the top masters are so far behind in level. They are nothing. Somewhere in a remote space, Yishao wakes up and a system notification appears. Congratulations, you have received the blessing of the Dragon God and have become even more powerful. Congratulations. Your beast, Xiao Hui, has received the blessing of the Dragon God and has become even more powerful. Yishao opens his eyes and mutters, "My head hurts." He stands up and looks around. What is this place? This seems to be a level 40 area. Toad remarks, the two dragons were gone. Suddenly, more system notifications pop up. Occupation, God of Wealth, Birth Talent, Money Rolling in LV1, Innate Talent, Stingy, LV1, Birth Talent, Great Fortune, LV1, Birth Talent, Unparalleled Charm, LV1, Birth Talent, Power of the God of Wealth, LV1. Yishao stares at the system and says, I have been busy with this blessing from the Dragon God for so long, but I haven't noticed any changes in its properties. Is it in terms of skills? It seems like nothing has changed. He continues investigating. It seems like there is a new money shield skill. Every 100 gold coins can be converted into 1 point of shield, so my current gold coin balance of 1.81 billion, doesn't that mean I have 18 million shields directly? Then he notices, innate skill, active, 4 gold shield, LV1. The system message appears, as the God of Wealth, money is your reliance. After activating the skill, you will gain a shield value equal to the number of gold coins on your body. This skill has no cooldown and no time limit. The shield can resist real damage, special damage, attribute damage, and is immune to special terms such as shield breaking, beheading, and instant death. Note, after being affected by you, the gold coins on your body will disappear. Yishao screams with joy, damn? Is this skill serious? He exclaims, and there is no cooldown period. Isn't this going to be awesome? I'm really lucky. Then Yishao notices something else, since the God of Wealth profession has a new talent skill. After that, he sees, the Beast God controls. A system notification appears, Occupation, Beast God Controller, Innate Talent, Divine Power, LV1. Innate Talent, Source of Magic Power, LV1. Birth Talent, God's Beast Taming Set, LV1. Birth Talent, Beast God Aura, LV1. Birth Talent, Beast God Control, LV1. Innate Talent 1. Unlimited Beast Taming, LV1. As the controller of the Beast God, you have realized the true meaning of beast taming. There is no limit to the number of beasts you can tam. In total shock, Yishao gasps, unlimited beasts to tam? No limit on the number of beasts to tam. He stares at his hands and says, even the royal beast tamer only has 3 core beasts, but you, a stinky boy, have unlimited. Holy shit, is this true? Am I dreaming? Dropping to his knees, he starts crying out, Big Brother's Dragon God, I will follow you from now on. I will definitely burn incense to the 2 dragon gods when I get back, and I will definitely thank you for 8 generations of ancestors. It's really awesome. After some time, at Trial Hall, level 30, a place guard sees Yishao and says, it turns out to be Lord Yishao. Are you going to take the Abyss level trial? Yishao replies, well yes. The guard responds, please wait a moment, and immediately opens portal doors. After that, the knight said to Lord Knight Xiao, best of luck to you. Xiao replied, thank you, and entered an Abyss level trial. Inside, there was snow everywhere. Xiao, while walking, said, it's so cold. If I had known it'd be this freezing, I would have worn more layers. But suddenly he noticed something coming from behind and dodged a snowball, saying, that was close. Toad looked at Xiao and said, why are you dodging it? Why don't you use your shield? Xiao, in shock, replied, oh right. I do have a shield. But suddenly, one giant snowman came running toward them. Xiao was shocked after seeing this. He summoned his dragon and said, Old Hui, show them how fierce you are. Hearing that, the dragon flew into the air and launched Dragon King Breath, instantly killing it. System message appeared, ding. Congratulations, you have successfully slain White-Furred Mutant Yeti. Xiao looked at it and said, 1 bite and it's over. Lao Hui, did you see that clearly? Toad replied, nope. But after that, Toad saw all system notifications about the dragon and said, Old Hui is too broken. But before they could relax, a large number of monsters came rushing toward them. Xiao, in shock, said, why are there so many monsters all of a sudden? After that, he commanded the dragon, Old Hui. Now's your chance to go wild. Go kill, kill, kill. The dragon flew high in the sky and released a fire attack. Half an hour later, the last monster died, and a system notification appeared. Congratulations, you have successfully slain Seeker of the Abyss, King Tyr. Xiao came near the monster's body and said, "Ha, Kingder? That's it? So weak." Toad replied, "Don't get cocky. Did you forget how badly you got crushed before?" After that, everyone in the game got a notification. System announcement. Daxia player, Knight Xiao, has passed the Abyss level advancement trial, becoming the first ever hero to pass the level 30 Abyss trial. Awarded epic item, Heroic Radiant Stone plus 1 point to Daxia Warzone score. After seeing that notification, many people started gossiping. One of them said, "Holy crap. I knew it. Night God was preparing something big this whole time and you didn't believe me. Our Daxia deity. Bow before him, mortals." Another said, "Shit. How did this guy get taken by a dragon and still come back? Daxia's advantage grows again." Someone else replied, "You idiot. This is impossible." Apart from all of them, somewhere else, one guy laughed and said, "I knew it. There's no way a character like him would die so early, just as I expected." Hearing that, the servant following him replied, "Even the level 30 Abyss trial could be cleared. This guy's potential really is bottomless." The guy said, "Let's go back to the city. I want to meet this interesting fellow myself. Once I bring him under my command, that's when the real game begins." And after hearing that, the servant replied, "Understood." Back to Xiao, he received notifications as he took the stone in his hand. Abyss Stone Fragment 3, grade, unknown, undetectable. Seeing that, he said, "Third fragment already? Just how many are there?" Another notification appeared saying, Heroic Radiant Stone, grade, epic. Description: a rare material infused with radiant energy from the heroic stone can further enhance the heroic emblem. Only powerful heroes are qualified to own it. He looked at the stone and said, "This heroic radiant stone is actually useful. I can enhance my heroic emblem again." After that, he started leaving the area, and seeing that, the guardian knight said, "Lord Knight Xiao. Take care." Xiao replied, "All right, see you." After some time at Fengye main city, Xiao walked around in the city. While walking, he said, "Seems like Fengye's getting crowded." Toad replied, "Well, you were missing for several days." After that, he looked at one shop and said, "Come on, let's get this gear appraised." But Toad noticed a long line in front of the shop. Seeing that, he said, "Why are there so many people?" Without wasting any time, Xiao ignored the people nearby and entered the shop. He came in and said, "Boss, appraise this gear." Hearing that, the owner replied without looking at him, "Get in line. Don't bug me." But as he looked up and noticed Xiao, he got up and said, "Well, look who it is. It's the god of fortune. Come right in." People waiting in line saw this and started saying, "Huh? Who's this guy? Just 'cause he's first class, he gets to cut the line?" After that, the shop owner noticed the stone in Zhao's hand and said, "Wait, is that the heroic emblem?" To which Xiao replied, "Help me enhance this first." Hearing that, the shop owner started working, saying, all right. Enhancing now, this thing's so valuable. If I mess it up, I'm ruined." People waiting in line saw the item and said, "What? Good item? Doesn't look like much. Just a shabby emblem." But as the shop owner completed his work, the system notification popped up, Heroic Emblem, Legendary Grade. Description: proof of a hero. Only those who pass the Hell level trial are worthy. An ultimate honor of the Empire. After 2 enhancements, it's become even more powerful. 100 base attributes, plus 5% all attribute resistance, 3 charisma, heroic power, passive triggers when HP drops below 30%, plus 10% strength, plus 10% spirit. Seeing that, guys in the line covered their eyes, saying, "That's legendary grade equipment. My eyes. Too bright." Xiao took the heroic emblem in his hands and said, "Another legendary item. Doesn't seem like a big upgrade though." People looked at him and said, "This guy, could he be the famous Knight Xiao? It must be. No wonder he could pass the Abyss level trial. Lord Knight Xiao, can I add you as a friend? I've been a fan for 10 years. After that, many people entered the shop to meet Xiao, saying, "Bro, where'd you get that gear? Tell me and I'll pay. Name your price. Boss, carry me please. My sister is super hot, like a school beauty tier. I can hook you 2 up. Big bro, I'm your long-lost brother-in-law. My sister's wearing black stockings today. Add me and I'll send you pics. If you don't like it, I'll wear them myself." The shop owner blocked them from approaching Xiao. Everyone calm down. Don't disrupt the store's business. After that, he said, "Staying low-key is so hard." And took out more weapons, saying, "Boss, help me appraise these other items too." The shop owner replied, "Sure thing. Satisfaction guaranteed." People looked at the weapons that Xiao took out and became excited. They started saying, "Holy crap. They're all dark gold gear." Another said, "My poor heart can't take this." One guy said, "Boss, you probably won't use all that gear, right? Want to sell a few pieces?" "Master, my dad owns 3 publicly traded companies. Money's not an issue. Just sell me 1 or 2 pieces, I beg you." After that, in the Apocalypse forum, people started talking nonstop. Damn it. Damn it. The legendary Yi Xiao appeared in Fengye City, and every item he identified turned out to be dark gold ranked. "Everyone, come and bow down to the Grand Master." Someone shouted. Then a person asked, "Hey, are you sure about that info, bro?" Another replied, "Yeah, last time they also said Yi Xiao showed up, but it turned out to be a fake, and I nearly had a heart attack from the anger." Someone else jumped in, "It's more real than pure gold. Check out these photos." They took them on the spot at an appraisal shop east of the city. "The coordinates are here." Another guy said, "Damn it, I'm going there right now. I'm heading back to the city." People in the city were also running like crazy, shouting, "Where's the great Yi Xiao today? I must beg him to take me as his disciple." Another yelled, "No way. I'll be his disciple first. Who do you think you are?" A girl even screamed, "God Yi, I'm coming for you. I want to have babies with you." Meanwhile, Yi Xiao was hiding somewhere and looked at the crowd searching for him, muttering, "Looks like no one followed me." Then he sighed, "What now? Being in the spotlight all the time is really tiring." Suddenly someone asked, "Are you Yi Xiao?" Yi Xiao looked at him and asked, "What do you want from me?" Then it wasn't just one guy, there were a bunch of them. Their leader said, "Don't get the wrong idea, we're not here to harm you. We just want to talk business." Yi Xiao asked, "A deal, huh? You're looking to buy dark gold ranked gear?" The man grinned and replied, "Yeah, something like that. Believe me, I've got an offer you won't be able to refuse." Yi Xiao chuckled and said, "If you're willing to pay hundreds of billions of gold coins for dark gold gear, then yeah, I definitely won't be able to refuse." The man replied, "Hundreds of billions? Looks like you're still thinking in-game terms." Yi Xiao glanced at him, thinking, this guy's showing off even more than me. He wasn't around in my previous life, but that assassin behind him. I remember that voice. One of the top assassins from my past life, never joined any faction, always acted alone. Then Yi Xiao asked, "So, what are you trying to say?" The man replied, "Honestly, seeing you dominate the rankings, I think you have great potential. I'm sure you'll do big things in the future, but it seems you haven't realized how much your in-game abilities can help in real life." Yi Xiao told him, "Keep talking," while thinking, "I want to see how far you'll go with this act." The man continued, "I'm not into selling dreams. Money, status, women, whatever you want, I can give it to you. So make your choice. I hope you'll join us." Yi Xiao placed his hand on the guy's shoulder and said, "Brother, the fact that you came to me for a partnership means you respect my skills, and I appreciate that." The guy grinned and said, "Glad you get it, then." But before he could finish, Yi Xiao summoned a fireball in his hand and said, "But you're too young to act so cocky. I don't like that. Let me help you calm down with the manual respawn." The guy shouted in shock, "You dare attack me? Think carefully before you do anything here." But Yi Xiao didn't care and hurled the fireball at him, yelling, "Idiot, you talk too much." The man was killed instantly, taking minus 3,346 damage. The group members gasped, "Did he really kill the young master?" They prepared to attack, but another guy stopped them, saying, "Don't move. This is the main city. Killing is forbidden here. We can't be held responsible if something happens." Yi Xiao started walking away and said, "Take the money and gear on the ground as compensation. Don't follow that guy anymore. He has no future." The group members looked at him and thought, "This is terrifying, killing someone in the main city. He's insane." Suddenly someone shouted, "Who's fighting here? How shameless." Another said, "Sirens. It's the main city guard." Suddenly, the guards appeared and surrounded them, shouting, "Nobody move." The leader of the city guards asked, "Who dares kill someone in the main city? Are you crazy?" Yi Xiao answered calmly, "It was me." The guards stared and said, "You killed someone and you're still so calm? You've got serious guts." Then the guard noticed something and asked, "Is he a first-class citizen?" He quickly added, "There must be some misunderstanding here. Apologies for our behavior, sir. Could you tell us what happened so we can file a report?" Yi Xiao raised his hand and said, "It's no big deal. Someone tried to threaten me, so I cleaned him up." The guard said, "What? A vagrant dared to insult a first-class citizen?" Then he stepped closer to Yi Xiao and said, "Sir, Protecting the city's safety is our job. If something like this happens again, please let us handle it. No need to dirty your hands. Yi Xiao replied, it's fine, it's fine. It was just a small effort. The guard nodded and said, thank you for understanding. If there's nothing else, we won't disturb you any further. Meanwhile, the group from earlier stood there in shock, wondering if this was even real. After that, the city guards left. One knight leaned toward his leader and asked, Boss, what just happened? Why didn't we arrest him? The leader scolded him, you idiot. How many times do I have to tell you? We gunners need to focus on the details. The details? Then he added, didn't you see that guy was a first-class citizen? He's exactly the young man the Duchess has been searching for. I heard she's been going crazy these days trying to find him. Do you think someone like that is the same as other first-class citizens? If we report this, we'll get promoted. Got it? The knight understood and said, no wonder you're the boss. Meanwhile, at the Duke's mansion, a girl yelled, good heavens. Are you mocking me? Her face turned red as she asked, why are there still no updates on Yi Xiao? Suddenly, a maid rushed in shouting, Madam, we have news about Lord Yi Xiao. The girl's eyes lit up with happiness. She stood up and asked, where is he now? At the same time, back at the resurrection point, the leader who died earlier asked, why didn't you fight back against him? One member replied, he killed someone in the main city, and we couldn't. Hearing that, the leader said, it was my fault for losing my composure. After all, he's already level 30 in the game. It's normal that you couldn't beat him. I expected this. I was the one who gave him the false idea that he could be on my level. Soon, I'll make him realize how foolish he was to challenge me. Then he turned to another guy and said, don't you have stealth skills? Go back to the city and pick up the gear I dropped. The guy nodded and said, yes, young master. Suddenly someone else said, no need. I didn't take your gear, but looking at you, it seems you won't be needing it anymore. It turned out the one standing there was Yi Xiao. When the group leader noticed him, he panicked and shouted that this was the respawn area and there were many cameras watching, even more than in the main city. But Yi Xiao didn't care and raised his magic weapon, saying if you don't remove the root, the grass will grow again. Then Yi Xiao launched a fireball that killed the leader a second time. The rest of the group got mad, but Yi Xiao calmly warned them not to make a move unless they wanted to die too. With a smile, he added that whether it's one or many, it doesn't matter to him, he'll kill them all if he has to. Suddenly the group leader respawned, yelling Yi Xiao's name, demanding to know what he was doing, and warning that if something happened to him, Yi Xiao's friends and family would suffer as well. Yi Xiao replied that he was going to die anyway and his threats meant nothing, before killing him once again. The surrounding players whispered among themselves, pointing out that Yi Xiao was killing someone repeatedly at the respawn point and questioning if he was insane for doing so. A member of the group looked at the leader, shocked, and muttered that the young master didn't respawn this time. He got logged out. Just then, the black-robed judge arrived and asked who dared to kill someone here. A group member called out Yi Xiao, saying that even though he was powerful he wouldn't escape the judge's punishment, and now he was really in trouble. Yi Xiao thought to himself that now even the black-robed judge had appeared, and fighting him directly at his current level would be a bad idea. He calmly stepped down from the rooftop and admitted that he was the one who killed the man, agreeing to go with the judge. The black-robed judge said he appreciated the honesty and ordered his knights to take Yi Xiao into custody. Meanwhile, in real life, at the home of the person who had died, a servant rushed in, panicking. The boy's father entered, asking what had happened to his son. The servant explained that the young master had been killed. The father shouted in fury, demanding to know who had killed his son and swearing that the killer's whole family would pay with their lives. At the same time, inside the Dragon Phoenix Empire Court, the judge addressed Yi Xiao, asking why he had violated the laws of Fenye City by killing someone at the respawn point. Yi Xiao explained that he had been harassed and threatened by a group, and as a first-class citizen he had to defend his own dignity. The people in the courtroom started murmuring, saying that Yi Xiao admitted to blocking the respawn point and killing the man 5 times in a row, which was overkill and left no chance for his opponent. Another added that it was terrifying how even the respawn zone wasn't safe if you upset the great Yi Xiao. The judge demanded silence and repeated the command for everyone to be quiet. Then he said that since this was Yi Xiao's first offense, he would be exiled from the Eastern District and barred from entering it. Yi Xiao started to say something in protest, but before he could finish, someone spoke up, saying that Yi Xiao only killed a vagrant who had dared to challenge his dignity and that it was a justified act. It was the Duchess who had spoken, questioning if the punishment was too harsh. The judge was surprised and respectfully greeted the lady, calling her Lady It. The Duchess looked at Yi Xiao and said there was no need for formalities, as Yi Xiao was her friend and she didn't want him to be treated unfairly. She then asked Mr. Iter what he thought. Mr. Iter agreed that the lady was right and admitted that his previous judgment was too hasty, noting that according to the laws of Fengye City, a vagrant who insults a first-class citizen must be executed. The Duchess then asked why they hadn't removed the handcuffs from Yi Xiao yet. The judge immediately ordered the release of Yi Xiao. After that, the Duchess asked Mr. Iter if they could leave since Yi Xiao was innocent. The judge replied that they were free to go at any time, my lady. The Duchess said that was fine and then turned to Yi Xiao, inviting him to leave with her. After they exited the court, Yi Xiao thanked Layla for her help. Layla told him it was nothing and then turned toward him, saying she'd heard he was captured by a dragon and had been looking for him everywhere. She said she was glad he was safe. Yi Xiao explained that he had indeed been caught by 2 dragons, but in the end, it turned out to be a good thing because he gained something valuable. Layla smiled and said that was great news and that he had to come to her house to tell her all about his adventures. Yi Xiao kissed Layla's hand and agreed, saying it had been a long time since they'd seen each other and he had a lot to share as well. Layla beamed and asked if he was being serious. Yi Xiao confirmed it was true, then asked if Mr. Stir was still at the mansion because he wanted to ask him about the second-class mission. Layla was surprised and asked if he was already level 30 so quickly. Inside the grand hall of the Duke's mansion, Master Stir turned to Yi Xiao, voice calm yet laced with humility. No wonder someone with enough spiritual power fill 5 crystal orbs and levels up so fast. Such power is beyond comparison. Master Stir felt himself grow smaller before such a presence, while Yi Xiao, ever composed, replied that Master Stir was being too humble but still had questions about the second-class mission. Stir's expression grew serious as he turned, admitting that when it comes to second-class missions for hidden professions, not just him, but even if one traveled across the entire continent, a clear answer would remain elusive, as the domain of the gods is far too mysterious. Layla's voice broke the quiet with a hint of concern, asking what should be done and whether Yi Xiao's second-class mission could even be obtained. Stir reassured her not to worry, explaining that to advance a hidden class to its second profession, one must gain the recognition of the gods. Yi Xiao's gaze sharpened, mentioning the Lost Temple, a thought that stunned Stir, who exclaimed in amazement that Yi Xiao even knew about such a place. Yi Xiao admitted hearing about it but confessed that the exact location was unknown, while a thought echoed in his mind that when it comes to the most mysterious places in Apocalypse, the Lost Temple surely ranked among the top. Layla's eyes brightened, praising Yi Xiao's knowledge, while Stir added that the Lost Temple appears randomly, like a mirage. 1 second it's right there, and the next, it vanishes without a trace. A system message then blinked into view, declaring that the class change quest, search for the Lost Temple had been accepted. Yi Xiao muttered that the matter of the second class would need careful planning. As Yi Xiao left the mansion, Layla called out for him to find her when done, and Yi Xiao agreed. Toad, following behind, grumbled about the difficulty of finding the Lost Temple, comparing it to a needle in a haystack, but Yi Xiao replied that the search must wait, as something far more urgent loomed. Toad, puzzled, asked what could be more important, prompting Yi Xiao to reveal that the first strange invasion in Apocalypse would happen tomorrow, with the gate to another world opening and countless strange creatures flooding forth to massacre all beings in Fengye Main City, razing every building to the ground. Toad's voice shook, asking if Yi Xiao was serious and whether they should flee, doubting Yi Xiao's ability to protect everything, but Yi Xiao smirked, admitting that relying on Toad alone was not enough and that someone else came to mind for this battle. A portal shimmered open as Yi Xiao called for Sister Tao, who appeared, her tone sharp, annoyed that Yi Xiao had summoned her again and asking if he had found another dragon's nest. Yi Xiao shook his head, explaining that this time, there were no dragons, and it was right here in Fengye City, so there would be no need to go anywhere else. Skeptical, Tao asked if Yi Xiao was sure, questioning what danger could exist in the main city, and even teased if she was being called in to beat up the city lord. Yi Xiao clarified that it wasn't that serious, but he needed her to guard his property in the West District for 1 day, starting from midnight tonight, offering the same pay as always. Tao narrowed her eyes, asking if Yi Xiao was trying to trick her again, but he simply reminded her of their long-standing friendship. After a pause, Tao relented, agreeing to show up on time. Yi Xiao smiled, telling her not to be late, while Toad muttered that Yi Xiao had tricked someone again. Yi Xiao brushed it off, claiming it wasn't a trick and that it was all for Tao's own good. Toad scoffed, clearly unconvinced. Yi Xiao's expression darkened as he thought about leveling up one last time to prepare for the invasion. Meanwhile, the Apocalypse forums buzzed with outrage, condemning Yi Zhao's actions for killing a player 5 times in a row at the respawn point, causing real-world death, and questioning if such terrifying power allowed him to do whatever he wanted. Accusations of lawlessness and disregard for human life flooded the threads, with calls for real identity verification growing louder. At home, Yi Zhao muttered that the noise was simply an attempt to expose his identity, finding it childish, and decided to get some rest in preparation for what might be a long night. As sleep took hold, across the world, countless players found themselves forcibly pulled into the game, panic rising as they asked what was happening, why they were back in the game without even falling asleep, and whether they were trapped like during the launch. Many shouted about being stuck for 9 hours again, voices filled with confusion. Later that night, Yi Zhao stood in the quiet streets, watching as Sister Tao arrived on time, her voice sharp as she questioned if Yi Zhao had called her just to chat or because he was so rich he needed something to do. Yi Zhao told her to relax and explained that soon, every shop in the West District would be under her protection, promising that not a single stone or tile would be lost. With Sister Tao around, Yi Zhao felt at ease. Thunder rumbled across the skies as Yi Zhao called for Tao to cast a buff, but she looked up, confused, wondering what was happening. A massive portal tore open in the sky, and voices echoed across the city, shouting that the strange invasion had begun. Monsters poured out as city guards scrambled, shouting for a level 1 alert, ordering mages to the walls, and calling for evacuation of the people. Chaos erupted as creatures rampaged through the streets. Sister Tao turned to Yi Zhao, striking down enemies with powerful spells, asking how Yi Zhao had predicted the invasion, noting that while the current level of these creatures was manageable, a rise in level would be dangerous. Yi Zhao urged her to believe in herself, reminding her that she was a divine-level sorceress. A giant boss-class monster emerged from the portal, causing Tao to shout that it was a level 100 boss lord class and that she had fallen into Yi Zhao's trap again. Glaring at Yi Zhao, she shouted that every time he called for her, it was never for something easy. Yi Zhao simply reminded her of her promise to protect every brick and tile of his West District. Tao, furious but determined, summoned a mighty spell, calling down 5 heavenly lightnings that obliterated the giant boss in a single strike. As the monster collapsed, Yi Zhao watched in awe, exclaiming that Sister Tao had defeated a Lord-class boss in one hit. Tao snapped that she wasn't some kind of toy. More creatures poured out of the portal, including flying elite bosses, prompting Tao to shout in frustration, asking why they kept coming and ordering Yi Zhao to stop staring and help out. Yi Zhao grinned and called out his dragon, Xiao Hui, commanding it to join the fight. A monstrous, blue-skinned beast with glowing orange eyes and fur-covered shoulders let out a deafening roar as it towered over the castle wall. Its huge claws were raised, ready to strike. Flames danced along the castle stones below, and defenders in armor shouted in fear. On the ramparts, 3 figures stood their ground. A man in a wide-brimmed hat and purple robes raised his staff and shouted for the others to hurry and keep the monsters at bay. Beside him, a knight in full plate and another warrior with a cape and sword braced for battle. One of them shouted out that he couldn't hold on any longer. Moments later, the same beast, now paler and clearly wounded, appeared again. A system notification flashed in the air. Congratulations, you have killed a strange elite-level boss. Far from the castle, our boy said to Xiao Hui, pointing out that yet another shop had just been destroyed. He then pointed to the horizon, warning that a new wave of enemies was approaching and urging the dragon to move quickly. In the distance, a rocky golem-like monster and a large reptilian beast marched across the rooftops. Above them, smaller bat-like creatures flapped through the twilight sky. Xiao Hui burst into motion, flying straight toward the threat. System notifications appeared. Congratulations, you have killed a strange elite-level boss. Followed by 2 more for normal-level bosses. The young man, Yi Zhao, grinned and clenched his fist. Just as expected, killing bosses really was the fastest way to level up. Standing tall on the rooftop with Xiao Hui beside him, Yi Zhao called out Sister Tao. He told her that she was in charge of defending the West District while he and Xiao Hui continued the hunt for more bosses. Sister Tao, clearly annoyed, asked if she looked like someone with 3 heads and 6 arms and demanded higher pay. Yi Zhao casually agreed without a second thought. With that, the boss hunt continued. Xiao Hui unleashed a blast of energy, wiping out a group of monsters. From the scorched remains, glowing loot scattered across the ground. Yi Zhao picked up a shining ring. A system message popped up. Devourer's ring, its grade is epic and effect is not yet identified. Pleased, he slipped the ring onto his finger and smirked, already looking for the next target. Meanwhile, just outside Fengye main city, chaos had broken loose. Panic swept through the fleeing crowd as large, gray, reptilian beasts chased them. One of the creatures fired a purple beam from its mouth, missing by inches. Screams echoed, with some shouting for help and others vowing to take the monsters down with them. Among the defenders stood a blonde-haired man in armor, bracing behind his shield. The monster's claw smashed into him, and he cried out in pain. He was part of a 4-person team, a man with purple hair and glasses named Clear Breeze and Bamboo, a red-haired woman, a hooded figure called Great Storm, and the blonde man with the shield, also known as Storm. As Storm struggled, he admitted he couldn't hold on anymore. Clear Breeze and Bamboo quickly told the team to search for an escape route, admitting that these bosses were far too powerful. Determined, Storm told his leader to run and take Xiaoyu and the others. He declared he could by only 5 seconds. The monster's enormous hand came down hard, slamming into him. Storm hit the ground, unmoving. His teammates rushed to his side. Great Storm asked if he was still alive, while the red-haired woman desperately called his name, trying to wake him. The monster loomed over them, its roar shaking the air as bat-like beasts swirled above. Despair filled their faces. Clear Breeze and Bamboo muttered that all hope seemed lost. Other member whispered, afraid they would all die right there. Then, without warning, a blinding beam of orange energy struck the monster's chest, knocking it backward with a huge impact. A damage number lit the air, -7,985. The monster's body glowed as it staggered from the hit. All eyes turned upward as Xiao Hui hovered in the sky. Clear Breeze and Bamboo stared in shock, asking if that was really a baby dragon. The dragon wasn't done. Xiao Hui summoned a vortex of swirling energy, then followed it with twin streams of fire. The flames engulfed the gray monsters in seconds. The stunned adventurers could only watch. Clear Breeze and Bamboo declared the baby dragon's power unbelievable. The woman wondered aloud if the heavens had heard her prayers. Even Storm, now awake and sitting up, was left speechless. Yi Xiao stepped onto the scene. Looking toward Xiao Hui, he pointed out that more bosses were nearby. The adventurers recognized him immediately. The woman gasped, pointing, calling him the legendary Yi Xiao. Great Storm confirmed it. Clear Breeze and Bamboo are stunned. As Yi Xiao turned to leave with Xiao Hui, Clear Breeze and Bamboo shouted after him. He turned to face them. They thanked him for saving their lives. Storm, now on his feet, joined in, calling him a grand master and promising to do anything, even give up his life, if Yi Xiao ever asked. With a soft smile, Yi Xiao told them not to worry. He said he was just passing through. He advised that the West District was the safest area now. If they didn't plan on boss hunting, they should head that way. Clear Breeze and Bamboo agreed. After he left, Girl commented on how cool he was. Storm added that if he were a woman, he'd definitely have Yi Xiao's child. Girl, unimpressed, told him he was way too ugly for that. Clear Breeze and Bamboo quickly told everyone to grab the dropped gear and start heading for the West District. Yi Xiao and Xiao Hui were soon seen again, easily clearing out normal monsters with fire breath. Yi Xiao frowned, saying killing these small monsters was a waste of time. His eyes turned toward the far-off city, now engulfed in flames. That was the real battlefield of the strange invasion, and the direction of the city gate. Later, the group of adventurers gathered on a rooftop in the West District. They commented on how safe the place really was, just as Yi Xiao had said. Girl then wondered aloud why Yi Xiao was fighting outside the city if this area was safe. Maybe he was leveling up by hunting bosses? Just then the woman shouted, pointing to the sky. Yi Xiao leveled up again. A giant notification shimmered in the air, Yi Xiao level 35. Clear Breeze and Bamboo shouted in shock. What? 35? Another adventurer remarked that he had just been level 31 yesterday. Someone else muttered that it was terrifying. Just how many bosses had he killed? Before they could say more, the woman pointed again. A giant flaming projectile streaked across the sky. Storm stared at it, noting that it came from the direction of the city gate. The blazing mass fell fast, aimed straight at the West District. The main gate of Fengye main city lay in ruins, a fiery landscape of destruction stretching as far as the eye could see. A lone figure, Yi Xiao, stood overlooking the devastation, thinking to himself that it was truly a massacre. Before him, within the city's crumbling walls, stood the source of the chaos, a towering skeleton king, its level ominously displayed as unknown. Yi Xiao recognized it as a level 100 Lord-class boss and mused that it would be tough to handle on his own. Inside the besieged city, the situation was desperate. A soldier rushed to Lord Eider, reporting that the wall at the main gate had been completely destroyed. He explained that the archer squad couldn't hold out, and their healers were overwhelmed. They couldn't take it anymore. He pleaded with Lord Eider for orders, asking if they should abandon the front line and fall back. Lord Eider, a grim-faced man with braided white hair and wearing purple armor, decisively commanded his men to prepare to retreat. His soldiers acknowledged the order. Suddenly, streaks of lightning tore through the sky, causing Lord Eider to look up in surprise. Hope surged through the defenders. One of them exclaimed that a divine-level expert had stepped in. Reinvigorated, Lord Eider roared for his brothers to charge, and the soldiers surged forward to attack. Meanwhile, Yi Xiao stood with Sister Tao. She asked him if he had called her in such a panic just because he wanted to kill that level 100 Lord boss. Yi Xiao, with a slight smile, confirmed her sharp observation and told her to think of a way to get him close to the boss, as he had a way to kill him. Sister Tao looked at the imposing, strangely aroused Skeleton King and expressed her doubt, stating that even she wouldn't dare claim she could defeat such a peculiar level 100 Lord-class boss, questioning if Yi Xiao was serious. He assured her he was totally serious, truer than pearls. Convinced, or at least willing to try, Sister Tao declared that if that was the case, she would send him off right and cast a blue, shimmering buff on Yi Xiao, who proclaimed it perfect. Yi Xiao then suggested that since Sister Tao was a divine sorceress, she should clear a path for him first so he could face the boss head-on. Impressed by his guts, Sister Tao agreed, stating that her sister would open the way. With a powerful incantation, Sister Tao summoned two massive demonic-looking creatures wreathed in yellow and orange flames. She then urged Yi Xiao to go. As Yi Xiao ran through the path carved by the summoned demons, he complimented Sister Tao, saying she was amazing as always. Back on the walls, Lord Eider addressed Sister Tao as Lady Dorothy, expressing his gratitude and stating that with her help, Fenya City would be saved. Lady Dorothy, staff in hand, told him to stop talking, take his men, and defend the north side, leaving this area to them. Lord Eider understood, affirming they were counting on her. Just then, a soldier in golden armor reported to Lord Eider that a level 30 Tamer was trying to attack the Lord Boss. Lord Eider, adhering to Lady Dorothy's orders, instructed everyone to fall back to the north zone, not worrying about the Tamer. Yi Xiao and Sister Tao now stood before the colossal Skeleton King, which towered over them, surrounded by smaller, bat-like creatures. Sister Tao told Yi Xiao that it was all up to him now. Toad then warned him that if he died, he shouldn't drag him down together, as he wasn't picking up his corpse. Yi Xiao, a confident smirk on his face, and replied, "Relax, I guarantee I won't die." Now begins the hunting hour. The Skeleton King raised its massive axe, its eyes glowing with purple energy. Sister Tao quickly cast a large, golden, circular shield spell around herself, urging Yi Xiao to move already. But Yi Xiao, still smirking, held up a small, intricately designed golden token and calmly told Sister Tao to calm down, just watch and see. He then roared, "Brutal massacre," as he raised the token, which glowed with intense red energy. One powerful red beam shot from the token, striking the Skeleton King directly in its chest and head. System messages appeared, brutal execution and instant death has been activated. The giant skeleton visibly fractured and began to crumble. Yi Xiao triumphantly exclaimed, "Haha, I did it." Toad looked on in disbelief, wondering if that Yi Xiao really took down the Lord-class boss in one hit. World announcement flashed across the sky. It declared that the Chinese player Yi Xiao had successfully killed a level 100 Lord-class boss, achieving the first Lord boss kill. He was awarded plus 1,000 reputation, plus 200 attribute points, and plus 1 China war zones. Another announcement congratulated player Yi Xiao for reaching level 40. Below, the soldiers were stunned, asking where the boss was and how it was possible for someone to one-shot a Lord boss. Elsewhere in the city, people were abuzz. One person wondered if the great Yi Xiao had left the city just a moment ago to slay the boss. Another group exclaimed that the Grand Master was too strong and amazing, questioning if he was accepting disciples. One lamented that Yi Xiao didn't just accept anyone, while another enthusiastically declared they were starting a fan club and would be the #1 fan of the great Yi Xiao. From the remains of the Skeleton King, several items emerged: a Divine Protector's shield, epic grade, a Stonecaller's staff, epic grade, and 2 blazing stone material. Yi Xiao picked up the glowing staff, remarking that, just as expected from a Lord-class boss, the rewards were on a whole different level compared to other monsters. He then turned to the toad, Lao Hui, and asked if it found anything good. Lao Hui indicated an artifact. Yi Xiao picked up a glowing, red, crescent-shaped horn, praising Lao Hui's good luck. The item was identified as Frenzied Horn of the Destroyer, its artifact-grade item. Yi Xiao noted that the rewards from this strange invasion were even better than completing a legendary-level quest. As if on cue, a large, purple, crystalline portal appeared, and the remaining strange monsters began retreating into it. The people below erupted in cheers, exclaiming that they had survived and won. Victory cries filled the air as the last of the invaders vanished. Sometime later, the governor of Funya City awakened on a couch, disoriented. He called for Turn, asking to be helped up, stating that no matter what, they couldn't let those strange creatures into the city. Turn, his attendant, informed him that it had been an hour since the invasion ended. The governor was shocked, asking how the invasion could already be over. Turn explained that while he was unconscious, with the help of Lord Yi Xiao and Lady Dorothy, the invasion was repulsed, and the whole city was now undergoing repairs. The governor murmured Yi Xiao's name, then remarked that he never expected that, besides Lady Dorothy, there would be another such outstanding talent, saving Funya City at such a critical time. He instructed Turn to make arrangements to meet Yi Xiao in person and express his gratitude. Turn confirmed he would arrange it right away. The story begins as Yi Xiao is lauded for performing another miracle, and his favorability with Aaron increases. Aaron and Layla usher Yi Xiao and Dorothy into a grand room. Aaron expresses profound gratitude, stating that without their courageous help, Funya City might not have survived its recent calamity. He offers his deepest thanks on behalf of all the city's citizens. Dorothy modestly redirects the praise, highlighting that it was Yi Xiao who personally defeated the Lord-level boss. A notification then announces that Yi Xiao has earned the respect and recognition of Funya City's governor, along with the title Friend of Funya. Yi Xiao, however, tells Sister Tao she is exaggerating, downplaying the recent monster invasion as no significant event. He encourages the governor not to dwell on it and suggests they move on to the main topic. Dorothy then informs the governor that, if there's nothing further, she will return to the Supreme Temple to attend to other matters, and the governor bids her a safe journey. Layla then asks the governor if there was a specific reason she was summoned. The governor explains that over half of Funya City lies in ruins, with the once thriving East District devastated, and most remaining intact buildings situated in the West District. He inquires if Layla could spare some properties in that western area. Layla replies that she is unable to make such a decision herself, as most of the properties in the West District are currently registered under Yi Xiao's name. The governor, surprised by this revelation, turns to Yi Xiao and asks if he would consider transferring ownership of some of these properties. Yi Xiao readily agrees, on the condition of a fair price. Toad thinks that Yi Xiao is about to profit once more. The pleased governor asks Yi Xiao to name his price, assuring him that the Funya Bank will prepare the gold coins immediately. Yi Xiao, appreciating the governor's straightforwardness, proposes to keep a few large shops located at street corners and transfer the remainder. The governor expresses his sincere thanks for this arrangement. Layla then speaks up, telling the governor she requires his support for a matter. He invites her to elaborate. Layla explains that the events in Funya City have been reported to the royal family, and Yi Xiao's bravery was witnessed by all its citizens. Consequently, she has decided to formally request that the royal family bestow a noble title upon Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao reacts with surprise, while Toad remarks on this being another piece of good news, calling Yi Xiao exceptionally fortunate. The governor expresses his full support for Layla's decision, having no objections. He silently muses on the noble Duchess Layla's high regard for such a young man, wondering about the nature of their relationship, before audibly affirming the wonderfulness of the idea and asking for Yi Xiao's thoughts. Yi Xiao expresses his gratitude to Layla, admitting he is unsure how to adequately thank both her and the governor. Layla insists that he saved Funya City and fully deserves this honor, adding that, frankly, she should be thanking him on behalf of the city. Meanwhile, a distressed Lu Hong stares at her phone, which displays an image of a monstrous creature. She is desperately trying to reach someone named Zhou Hong, pleading for him not to be dead and to stop joking. She laments that Zhou Hong, to whom she gave her entire savings worth of gear, still couldn't defeat a single strange monster. Wondering what to do, she realizes she can still seek out Yi Xiao. She blames the useless Zhou Hong for leading her astray, believing that if not for him, her relationship with Yi Xiao would not be in its current state. Lu Hong now feels that Yi Xiao has treated her the best in the world and resolves to find him. She convinces herself that Yi Xiao loves her deeply and that a sincere apology will allow them to reconcile. She decides that whatever Yi Xiao wants, she will give it to him, certain that if she humbles herself, he will forgive her. With renewed determination, Lu Hong runs off, calling for Yi Xiao to wait for her. In the streets of Fengye City, people discuss their plans. One player declares their intention to transfer to Fengye City the next day upon logging in, deeming other areas too dangerous and believing only the great Yi Xiao can ensure their safety. Another player looks to form a party for safer travel, while someone else publicly offers a high price for a city transfer scroll. A different crowd gathers around a property, with one person offering 5,000 gold coins and another bidding 10,000 gold coins to purchase a house. Yi Xiao walks with an old blacksmith, who wonders aloud about the sudden influx of people into Fengye City. Yi Xiao comments that it's a bit late for challenging monsters and that he should focus on forging his equipment. The old blacksmith greets Yi Xiao and asks the purpose of his visit. Yi Xiao states he is there to forge and identify some equipment. The blacksmith, honored, explains that unfortunately his own shop was destroyed. Yi Xiao then invites the blacksmith to accompany him, offering to lend him a forge and an identification device, which piques the blacksmith's interest. They arrive at a building, and Yi Xiao invites the blacksmith inside. The blacksmith, curious about the place, is told by Yi Xiao to simply come in and see for himself. Upon entering, the blacksmith is astonished, exclaiming that it's a top-tier forge. He expresses his surprise at finding such a luxurious facility, complete with identification equipment, in the West District, and asks who owns the shop. Yi Xiao reveals that the property is his, has been vacant for some time, and the blacksmith's arrival is opportune. He then offers the blacksmith ownership of the shop, proposing they use the same profit model as the blacksmith's previous establishment. The blacksmith is deeply moved and honored, especially given the number of unemployed identifiers in Fengye City, and expresses his eternal gratitude to Yi Xiao for taking him in. Yi Xiao dismisses the thanks, stating that work is what matters. He suggests they begin by identifying equipment and presents an item, an artifact requiring identification, asking if the blacksmith believes he can successfully appraise it. The blacksmith admits that even with the most advanced identification devices currently available, he cannot guarantee success with this artifact. Yi Xiao encourages him to try anyway. Motivated by Yi Xiao's trust, the blacksmith vows to give it his best effort, but the attempt results in an identification failed notification. The blacksmith explains that, as expected, he couldn't even maintain the identification spell. Yi Xiao asks if it's truly that difficult. The blacksmith confirms, noting that no one has ever successfully identified an artifact before, and apologizes for his inability to help. Yi Xiao acknowledges the complexity of the task and says he understands. He then proposes they start by identifying 3 other epic-grade items. The blacksmith confidently assures him that identifying epic-grade items will not be a problem. Elsewhere, guards are turning away a group of people, informing them that the governor is extremely busy and cannot see them, urging them to leave immediately. Just then Yi Xiao arrives. One of the guards instantly recognizes him, informs him that the governor is in his office, and invites him to enter. Yi Xiao agrees and proceeds, wondering if the governor is indeed in. Inside, Governor Aaron expressed surprise at Yi Xiao's unexpected visit and inquired if there was something he needed. Yi Xiao stated his purpose directly. He wished to search for the lost race. The governor remarked that, according to legends, the lost race had vanished over 100 years ago, making such a search akin to looking for a needle in a haystack. Yi Xiao acknowledged the difficulty but affirmed his determination to try. The governor then asked what assistance Yi Xiao required from him. Yi Xiao requested that the governor issue a bounty. Anyone who found the lost race would be rewarded with 5 million gold coins and 3 dark gold-grade equipment pieces. Impressed by the generous reward, the governor observed that this matter was clearly very important to Yi Xiao and readily agreed to issue the bounty immediately. Yi Xiao thanked him, but the governor demurred, stating that it was no trouble at all. The following day, a system-wide announcement declared that the Chinese player, Yi Han, also known as Yi Xiao, had successfully completed the level 40 Abyss trial, becoming the first player ever to do so. His rewards included an epic-grade item called the Stone of Valor, and China's Warzone score was increased by 1 point, prompting a special announcement. News spread quickly, with players expressing astonishment that the great Yi Xiao had not only passed the daunting level 40 Abyss trial but was also actively grinding levels again. One observer commented on his incredible feat but speculated that now that Yi Xiao had reached level 40, his leveling pace would surely slow down. Within the level 40 Abyss trial grounds, Yi Xiao faced an abyssal guide, a massive, reptilian monster. The beast unleashed powerful attack, But Yi Xiao, enveloped in a shimmering shield, emerged unscathed. And suddenly Xiao Hui launched fire at it monster and kill it. Toad remarked that it was a good thing Xiao Hui had the money shield, otherwise they would have been goners. Yi Xiao then addressed Toad, telling it not to joke, as Xiao Hui's stats had skyrocketed thanks to the blessing of the dragon god. Another shimmering fragment materialized before Yi Xiao, who noted it was the fourth such piece, pondering how many more were needed to complete whatever artifact they formed. Suddenly, a system message appeared. Governor Aaron urgently requested Lord Yi Han's presence at his residence, stating there was news about what he had been looking for. Yi Xiao reacted with surprise. Could there be news about the lost race already? Elsewhere, other players were abuzz with excitement. One exclaimed, upon seeing a short, stout figure, that it must be one of the lost race and that he needed to inform the great Yi Xiao. Another, seeing the same figure, gushed that they were going to be rich. A third player shouted at another to stop running, claiming he had seen the dwarves first, and called out for Lord Yi Xiao, declaring that the dark gold gear and gold coins were his. Yi Xiao soon met with the governor, asking if there was indeed news about the lost race. The governor confirmed, ready to explain. A knight then reported to Lord Yi Han, explaining that a group of oddly shaped dwarves had been sighted in the forest just outside Fengye City, and they might well be the lost race Yi Xiao was seeking. Yi Xiao questioned if the knight was certain they were so close, right outside the city. The knight affirmed, stating he had stumbled upon them while hiding during the recent strange invasion, and added that if Lord Yi Xiao hadn't ended that calamity, he might not have survived. Yi Xiao cut short the pleasantries and instructed the knight to take him there immediately. When the knight offered to send additional soldiers, Yi Xiao declined, confident he could handle the situation alone. In the forest, several adventurers had already encountered the dwarves. One player boasted he would capture a dwarf alive to claim the reward from the great Yi Xiao, while another proposed they cooperate, offering a split of gold and gear. Dwarf then attacked one of the adventurers with a hammer, but the blow only inflicted a meager 80 damage. The adventurers laughed, confident he could withstand any retaliation. His confidence was short-lived. The dwarf's hammer unleashed a devastating explosion of energy. The player was instantly obliterated, taking 87,231 lightning damage, and let out a final scream. The remaining players were horrified, exclaiming at the colossal damage from a single hit and questioning if these dwarves were even human, calling them utterly broken. Among the dwarves, one named Dulin grumbled about the damn humans always causing trouble and how irritating their presence was. Another, named Thor, reminded Dulin that he had warned against passing through human territory. Dulin retorted that he wasn't there to be treated like a circus animal and would have smashed them all if not for the sake of their tribe. Thor urged Dulin to calm down, suggesting they should leave the area quickly. At that moment, Yi Xiao arrived with the knight, who indicated the dwarves were just ahead. Onlookers excitedly pointed out the arrival of the great Yi Xiao, anticipating action. The knight informed Yi Xiao that the dwarves were just inside the forest. Yi Xiao acknowledged and decided they should pick up their pace. As Yi Xiao approached, the knight warned him again that the dwarves were extremely temperamental and their attacks were incredibly powerful. Yi Xiao, however, assured the knight he knew what he was doing and that the knight's task was complete. He could handle the rest. The knight acknowledged and withdrew. One of the dwarves observed Yi Xiao walking directly towards them and questioned if the little punk was serious. Dulin, seeing the approaching human, angrily declared he was going to crush him. However, Thor intervened, asking Dulin if he didn't think this particular human looked rather pleasant. Dulin paused, and Thor admitted that, strangely, his urge to smash the human had subsided. Thor then became aware of a distinct aroma emanating from Yi Xiao. He asked Dulin if he could smell it, a strong scent, like that of a divine artifact, or perhaps even multiple ones. Dulin sniffed the air and concurred, confirming he too smelled divine artifacts on Yi Xiao, and more than just one. Thor then detected another scent, fainter but familiar, something from a very long time ago. He mused that whatever Yi Xiao was carrying might even surpass divine artifacts in power. Suddenly, Thor's eyes widened in revelation. He exclaimed, "Oh my god! It's the scent of a god! I remember now. It's the scent of a great deity." Hearing this, Dulin also recalled the ancient aroma, agreeing that it was unmistakably the aura of a god. As Yi Xiao continued walking towards them, one of the dwarves observed him closely. The dwarf noted that he was only level 40, a very low level, and that there was something unusual about his attributes. The dwarf's eyes widened in surprise. He exclaimed for Thor to look at Yi Xiao's incredibly high mental power. Both dwarves stared in shock. They concluded that with such immense mental power, Yi Xiao must have received divine guidance. Meanwhile, a group of players watched from a distance in disbelief. One of them expressed his confusion, wondering why the dwarves, who had attacked them on sight, were letting Yi Xiao approach peacefully. Another player scoffed, remarking that he shouldn't expect logic when dealing with a top-tier player. The onlookers continued their discussion with varied reactions. One player grumbled about the dwarves' blatant double standards, while another remarked that Yi Xiao always managed to do the unexpected. A third was already formulating a sensational news headline about the #1 ranked player engaging in passionate combat with two burly men. Dulin stood defiantly, blocking Yi Xiao's path. He demanded to know who Yi Xiao was and what his purpose was for being there. Yi Xiao introduced himself as a human named Yi Xiao and stated he had come to seek their help. Dulin looked at him with suspicion. He asked if Yi Xiao's purpose was to have them forge a divine artifact. Yi Xiao shook his head slightly. He clarified that he didn't need a divine artifact forged. What he truly sought was to find the lost temple. The dwarves exchanged surprised glances. Dulin asked why he was searching for such a place. Yi Xiao explained his situation. He told them his class advancement quest required the help of a god, and the only way to contact one was through the lost temple, assuring them that he meant no harm. Dulin and Thor looked at each other, considering his words. Dulin then stated that the location of the lost temple was a grave secret, one they could not easily reveal to just anyone, unless Yi Xiao could prove that he was a good person. Yi Xiao smirked slightly. He remarked that proving he was a good person would be rather difficult. An idea came to him. He then proposed that he had another matter for them, revealing he possessed a divine artifact that he needed them to appraise. Thor's face lit up with excitement. He eagerly confirmed that Yi Xiao did indeed possess a divine artifact and urged him to show it to them. Yi Xiao held up a hand, hesitating for a moment. He mentioned that a master blacksmith had told him the item was impossible to appraise and questioned if they were certain they could do it. The dwarves puffed out their chests with pride and indignation. They scoffed at the notion, declaring that their dwarf race was unparalleled in forging and that, in their eyes, human blacksmiths were utter garbage. Dulin gestured impatiently. He urged Yi Xiao to present the artifact so they could examine it. Yi Xiao held out a glowing, broken horn, and the two dwarves leaned in to inspect it closely. Thor remarked that the object didn't appear to be a forged artifact. Yi Xiao looked at them inquisitively. He asked them to explain what they meant. Dulin elaborated on their observation. He explained that the item bore no marks of craftsmanship but had instead naturally achieved its divine status by being exposed to a specific, powerful element over time. Dulin continued to hold the artifact as he spoke, identifying it as the horn of a destruction god, either broken or naturally shed, and then asked Yi Xiao how he had come to acquire it. Yi Xiao recounted the recent events. He informed them that he had obtained it by defeating the boss from the strange invasion a few days prior. The dwarves were stunned by this revelation. They asked in disbelief if he was truly the one who had defeated the Lord-level boss, and if he had actually set foot in the domain of a god. They repeated the question, still processing the information. Yi Xiao calmly set aside their questions. He told them that for now, they should first answer his question. Could they or could they not appraise the item? Thor regained his composure and confidently assured Yi Xiao they could. He explained that appraising it would not be difficult for them, but warned that the service would be extremely expensive, questioning if Yi Xiao could afford the price. As Yi Xiao listened, Xiao Hui perched on his shoulder, anticipating the dwarves' high price. Yi Xiao simply told them to state their fee. Dulin nervously held up 5 fingers. He informed Yi Xiao that the price would be at least that much. He stammered slightly as he clarified the amount. It would cost 500 gold coins. Yi Xiao and Xiao Hui stared back with wide, comical expressions of shock. Yi Xiao asked incredulously if he meant only 500. Dulin, misreading his shock as dismay, asked if the price was too high and offered to lower it. Dulin mused that 500 gold coins could be exchanged for 50 bags of rice, an amount of wealth he had never seen in his entire life. Believing his price was too high, Dulin hastily lowered his offer. He declared that the absolute minimum he could accept was 300 gold coins, and if that was too much, Yi Xiao would have to find another way. Yi Xiao he declared that if they successfully appraised the divine artifact, he would pay them a fee of 1 million gold coins. The dwarves' jaws dropped in unison, their eyes bulging with shock. They both cried out in disbelief, questioning if they heard correctly, 1 million gold coins. The dwarves began to imagine what such a sum could buy. One thought to himself that with 1 million gold coins, they could buy so much rice that they wouldn't be able to finish it in a lifetime. Yi Shao summoned a pouch of gold with a flick of his wrist. He told them that this was 1,000 gold coins as a deposit, and he would have food sent over to them shortly. Overwhelmed by the generosity, Thor became extremely flustered. He exclaimed that he couldn't handle receiving so much gold and urged Yi Shao to give him the artifact so they could appraise it immediately. With that, a notification indicated that his and Dulin's favorability towards Yi Shao had both increased by 20 points. 1 hour later, Dulin announced that they had succeeded. Yi Shao examined the now identified artifact, the Horn of Destructive Rage. Its stats appeared before him, revealing its incredible power, which included significant boosts to strength and spirit, a passive effect that reduced enemy healing, and a potent active ability that dealt immense damage and could even strip divine protections from structures. Yi Shao marveled at the horned artifact in his hand. He thought to himself that the dwarves' legendary craftsmanship was truly no exaggeration and that the artifact's properties were overwhelmingly powerful. He glanced at the artifact, his mind racing. He wondered if the mention of divine power was another connection to the gods. Dulin reminded Yi Shao that since the artifact was now appraised, it was time for him to pay the rest of the reward. Yi Shao looked up reassuringly. He told them not to worry, as he would not go back on his word, and instructed them to pack their things and follow him to Funya City to collect their money. Dulin looked surprised. He asked if Yi Shao was truly inviting them to the main human city. Thor stared with wide-eyed wonder. He confessed that he had never set foot in a human city before. Yi Shao confirmed their invitation with a smile. He promised to host a banquet for them where they could eat as much as they wanted, and added that he had many more artifacts for them to work on. The dwarves erupted in joy. Thor celebrated that he had never imagined they would be feasting in a human city and excitedly called for all their clan members to pack their belongings for the journey. The entire clan cheered in response. Watching from a distance, players saw Yi Shao leading the dwarves away. One was baffled that not only did they not fight, but he was now taking the entire dwarven clan with him. The other could only remark that this was the world of a top-tier player, far beyond their comprehension. The first player grew thoughtful. He wondered if this meant they might be able to commission the dwarves to forge powerful equipment for them by leveraging their connection to Yi Shao. The other agreed that it seemed very possible. Inside hall, the dwarves sat at long tables piled high with food, feasting joyously. They savored the delicious meal. One dwarf commented on how exquisite the food was, while another exclaimed that he had never tasted anything so wonderful in his entire life. The dwarves continued to celebrate their feast. Amid the boisterous feast, one announced to everyone that their entire bill was being covered by Lord Yi Shao. The dwarves let out a loud, unified cheer of "Oh ho!" Yi Shao sat at a table with Thor, away from the main revelry. He asked Thor if he was now willing to tell him about the lost temple. Thor confirmed that it was no longer a problem. Thor held out a small, intricate device. He explained that it was a temple detection instrument, an ancestral heirloom, that would react when near the fire temple, making it only a matter of time before they found it. Thor's expression turned grim. He stated that he still felt compelled to offer a word of warning, strongly advising Yi Shao to abandon his quest. Yi Shao looked at him, puzzled. He asked for the reason behind the warning. Thor explained that the place was home to an incredibly terrifying creature.